Hello. I would never press the button to transition the scene too late. No. Good evening. Hello. Oh, I'm moving in the wrong direction. Here we go. Hello. It's me. Not Mario. Good evening. How are you? I hope you're good. We shall pretend that today is Sunday. Hi. Or maybe I should just, stop pretending that it's a different day if I move stream. Let's just accept it as it is. Hi. I'm good. It was a very uneventful Monday, surprisingly. Normally, this is why I try to not stream on Mondays, because they're usually very stressful, but today was good. Newest Stealing Days is always yes. Join me in my thieving adventures. No, but I'm good. I hope you're all good as well. I had some bomb fucking lasagna. How do you say it? Lasagna for dinner tonight, which was self-made. Very tasty, very good. So I'm all raring to go. Wait, I forgot. Hold on. There's the sound. I was like, we're missing something. Also, my glasses are a bit skewed, but that's okay. That's okay. Man, we are getting closer to the end of these games. It's not just one game, of these games. I'm surprised. I have a feeling that we're going to die a lot today and next time as well, depending on how long the wizard's route is. But as we've seen, he has no qualms about killing us if we do the wrong thing. So like, I would never go the wrong route or anything on purpose, right? So let's see what he has in store for us on his own route. Wait. I just want to... Wait, is this the same? No! If you press start now, it's different. I see. I guess I have to read it? Where am I? I keep walking, but I can't seem to find a single exit. I mean, now we have unlocked the wizard's route, so maybe there's a difference now. I see. It's so dark I can see a thing. I can't even tell how far I've walked or how much time has passed. No matter where you go, the scenery around you remains static and unchanging. It's like the darkness has consumed everything and all sense of direction, even the very concept of time itself. Were you to stand perfectly still and hold your breath, the only sound would be that of your own heartbeat. What am I doing here? Who am I? You can't remember a thing, not even your own name. I can't remember anything. Alone in the dark, fear and loneliness overwhelms you. Hello? Is anyone there? If you're there, say something, please. No one's here. Was I always alone or did I lose someone along the way? I don't know. I don't know anything. You soon grow tired of walking, but something spurs you forward in spite of yourself. Maybe I find something just up ahead. Your morale is in tatters and your legs are threatening to give out, but you press on regardless. What on earth? Out of nowhere, something seizes you by the leg, threatening to pull you down into its inky depths. No! You struggle with all your might, refusing to let the shadow swallow you up. Stop it! Someone help! Oh. Oh, that's different. You... Oh, Alice won't help us? Oh, that is different. Oh. What?
君は今闇に飲み込まれようとしている。なぜかわかるか？それは自分がないからだ。君は自分が誰か分かっていないだろう。
Yeah, that's true.
君は誰だ？どうした？何も思い出せないのか？
Well, I'm just me.
まったく。世話が焼ける。ほら、捕まれ。
Okay. Oh, he does help us. Okay. Right. Well, that is certainly different. I shouldn't laugh. I probably sound the same if I try to run. Do you think we're safe here? Wait, what the... Oh, he's fucking dying. Are you okay?
大丈夫なわけないだろう。助けた相手を余裕の表情で追いかけあげく無理やり引っ張るとは神経がずぶとくどうかな女だな。少しは男を立てるということを覚えたらどうなんだ。
Alright, wow, you were incredible. I'm so impressed.
いや、そんなことないよ。ってそれは男をおだてるなバカ者。褒めとけ勝手に喜んで調子に乗るだろうという男をバカにした考えが透けて見えるぞ腹切る女。だいたい今のセリフは脈絡なさすぎて全然おだてられてない。
Okay, he's back to his usual self. That feels more comfortable than him being all down in the dumps and like, well, so you don't know who you are. I'm sorry, but I do appreciate you playing along.
君はとんでもなく嫌みったらしい人間だな。
Anyway, thanks for saving me,
Alice だ。
Alice, what a wonderful name. Say, do you know who I am?
自分を有名人か何かだと思っているのか。嫌みったらしいだけでなく、随分と自意識過剰なんだな。僕が君を知っているわけないだろ。
There was a chance you might know me. You don't. But back when the darkness attacked, you called me a selfish, weak, pathetic fool who can't do anything on my own and all that. Or were you not talking to me when you said that?
さあ、どうだろうな。
Not only that, but when you asked me you don't know who you are, correct? You implied that you knew I had amnesia. Doesn't that mean you know more about me than I do?
ああ、そうだな。
I knew it!
君は随分と能天気だな。ついさっきまであんな目に遭っていたというのに、何事もなかったかのようにのほほんと笑っている。
That's a single brain cell rattling in my head. Well, yeah, the crisis has been averted.
一難去ってまた一難という言葉を知らないのか?
Out of the frying pan and into the fire. We have that saying in German as well, but it's like literally translated as something like, wait, I don't actually know how to literally translate it, but it's in regards to rain. It sounds like a big brain cell. Does it? It's one enormous brain cell in my, but it's a pea brain. So like, it's just, I don't, wait, it's like this. That's my one singular brain cell. From the rain to the baptism, whatever. Yeah, I don't know what it means either. But that's my single brain cell. fire around here. Besides, I've got you.
僕が君を助けると思うのか？やれ女性差別だ男女平等だなんだと騒いでおいて。
Bro.
都合の悪い時には女性であることを主張する女性様の典型か君は。
Huh? No, I don't expect you to save me, but as long as you're around, I have nothing to fear. Oh, and obviously, if you're ever in trouble, I'm happy to help you.
君が困ったら
I certainly appreciate it if you lend a hand.
結局そうなるんじゃないか。
Well, yeah. We have to help each other out, don't we? Anyway, where are we? Do you know?
他人に頼るのではなく、まずは自分の頭で考えてみたらどうだ。
Wow, damn. You won a lot out of my one brain cell. Maybe we're in hell. It's so dark and empty, very dull. But then again, if it was actually hell, I wouldn't have met you.
そうだな。ここがどこかわからないけど、少なくとも現実ではない気がする。
It's a dream. If this isn't reality, then perhaps a dream is the next most realistic alternative.
ダジャレか？
Seriously though, I think I'm onto something here. Think about it. In a dream, suddenly the impossible is made possible and anything can happen.
これが夢なら、君は理不尽で不可解な夢の中のキャラクターということになるが。
Maybe. Or conversely, maybe you're the fictional character.
フィッチドリーム D？
What?
君か、それとも僕か。覚めなかった方が消える。
Which dream did? Why did he say that in English? Which dream did?
アリス。
Who's that?
君の名前だ。いい加減君言い続けるのも鬱陶しいからな。
Sounds a lot like your name though.
一応、ひらがなとカタカナで分けている。
I see.
こっちに来い。
Huh? Hand in hand, you wander through the darkness. Moments earlier, you were overwhelmed with fear, but now the warmth of his hand reassures you. So, where are we going? Thank you for helping me find my way. You're a good person, Alice.
ああ、そうだな。僕ほど優しい人間はいないだろう。そんなノーベル平和賞受賞待ったなしな素晴らしい人間に迷惑をかける愚か者もいるみたいだが。
Now we just need to work on your attitude problem. And so the friendly conversation continues. No ground to walk on, no concept of time, no one else in sight, and yet with Alice at your side, you don't miss any of it. You walk and walk and walk until there appears before you a giant-looking glass. Thank you, Duolingo! There appears before you the giant Duolingo owl threatening you and your loved ones for not doing your coursework. Sugoi! Is this a crystal? That's funny. I can see my reflection. Is this really me?
ああ、そうだ。その能天気そうで頭の緩そうな見かけも中身もふわふわしているのが君だ。なんだ気色悪い。自分のアホ面を見てあまりの面白さに
When they do the whole show you show up and relax it. Yeah.
実に頭が悪そうだ。
Every day I look out my window before I go to sleep in fear of it suddenly showing up. You know, Alice, I'm glad you're here with me.
Huh?
I have no memory of myself, so I wouldn't have known this was me. But with you around to show me who I am, I'm able to establish myself, or rather, myself.
鏡に映る姿が自己であることを知るのは自己認識の第一歩だそうだ。
Isn't that also
鏡によって
what they've
初
been
めて人は
trying to
自
prove
分
with
自身を
cats?
客観的に見る手段を
Because
得た。
apparently cats are not able to recognize themselves in the mirror and think it's another cat, but I don't think that's true. Guess that makes you my mirror.
そうかもな。
Do you think this mirror is a gateway to another world?
鏡を通り抜けたら別の世界でした。まるでおとぎ話だな。
What do you suppose this world beyond the looking glass is like?
そっくり同じ。ただ何もかもが逆さまなんじゃないのか。
So they're total opposites, like you and me. Yearning to travel to the other side, you reach out to the mirror. And suddenly it radiates a blinding light. Aha! When the light fades, the mirror no longer reflects you, but someone else. Who is he? He's dressed entirely in black, like he's draped in all the world's darkness. You prod the surface of the mirror with your finger and it ripples like water. Looks like it let us through.
アリス、
What's up?
君はこれからどうするつもりだ？
Escape from this world, obviously.
なぜだ？ 俺が夢なら何をしたって意味はないはずだ。
Maybe. Or maybe it's a lucid dream and I can control the outcome at will. And if that's the case, I'd like to try and brighten this place up a bit.
君は本当に身勝手だな。この夢を見ている人物がそう願っているかどうかなんてわからないだろう。
I mean, honestly, we've been kind of, you know, just doing whatever we want in the other routes as well. It's like, oh, you are severely mentally ill. I'm going to save you with my love. Which reminds me, I don't have any trigger warnings up for this because I have no clue what happens in this route, and I hope there's nothing here that would need a trigger warning. I think I should maybe actually show, look that up. This game contains content that may be disturbing to some players. Wait. No, that was in episode 2. What about episode 3? But like, without spoiling the ending for me. Okay, no. At least I'm not finding any mention of it, so I hope we're safe. I mean, we know that there's a bunch of interesting content in this game, but at least this one apparently doesn't have any outright stuff like episode 2 had, so...
夢は夢だ。楽しい夢を見れば目が覚めた時に
Hello, good evening. How are you?
So you think I should just shrug my shoulders and give up?
このまま目覚めないことも本人にとっては幸せなのかもしれない。
Look, I know I'm just some selfish fro girl like you said, but I want the stream to be so much fun that they wake from it feeling warm and fuzzy. Besides, if I'm literally part of the stream right now, then that means my viewpoint is at least partially the dreamer's too. I mean, think about it. If this is a dream, then you and I share the same consciousness.
そうだな、アリス。
Aww.
君ならできるさ。
Look at him. He's smiling.
You know, when he doesn't have his mouth open and spews like, I don't know, lots of bad words and mean words at us, he's really cute. You're really cute when you know how to shut your mouth, Alice. You're fine all the time. Oh, that's a mood though. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for asking. Darn right I can. Together you and Alice reach out to the mirror. Then you walk through the glass and jump down into the looking glass world. Whoa. Do we get the opening? No? Yes. Okay, sorry. I have to skip this. I'm gonna get hit with the copyright otherwise. One day we were playing yet another game of chess, she said to me. Fun fact, when a girl falls in love, it changes her as a person.
内気になったり
That, or sometimes she gets more easily frustrated. Being in love makes you want to do anything and everything for a special person. Even if the whole world is against you, you still want to help them.
随分と盲目的なんだね。
Tunnel vision comes with the territory, yeah. Naturally, if you're going to turn the world against you, you have to be prepared for the consequences. You have to be strong enough to handle it. But love doesn't make you strong, it just makes you desperate to the point that it changes you.
どんな私にでもなれる
Yep.
ポーンみたいだ。ポーンは相手の一番奥まで進むことができれば
I don't know how
他の
chess
駒に
works.
なることができる。
I know you have a bunch of pieces on a board and you try to get the opposite side's king, right? You try to get the king and like, I know that the queen can move everywhere and I know pawns can move 2 spaces on the first move. and other than that, they can only move one way, one tile. I don't know. That's all I know about chess. Right, keep charging forward and you can turn yourself into a rook, bishop, knight, or even a queen. Wait, you can turn a pawn into a queen? What? This is a story about searching one's soul for the truth. And the protagonist is you! Me?
ねえ漁師さん
Wow.
マジで奴に頼るんすか俺あいつのことうさんくさくてどうも信用
Oh,
で
I
きねえ
didn't
んだ
know
よ
that
な
one. Oh. Maybe I should learn chess someday.
俺も奴のことは一切
Chess
信
and
用してねえ。
mahjong and all of these things.
ならなんでここに来るんすか
仕方ないだろ。これが俺たちの仕事だ。
そうだ
I missed Wolfie. We haven't seen him in a while.
まあ、あいつは信用は置けないが、
Ah.
役には立つやつだぞ。何しろあいつは。
So no one trusts the wizard? Good. I don't trust him either.
もしもーしいらっしゃいますか
はいはい。いますよ。空いてるので
Wait,
勝手に
who
入っ
is
てきて
it?
ください。
Why do I keep forgetting who it is? But like, who is the wizard's voice actor? Because I know him. Who is that? Hatano Wataru. Okay, never mind. I don't know him. That name doesn't ring a single bell. He has been in a lot of things. But none of these ring a bell for me. Holy fuck, how have you managed to voice that many people and I don't know you? I like to pride myself in thinking I know most of the seiyuu to an extent. Like, at least the ones that you hear literally everywhere, but him, I actually don't know. That's surprising. He voiced Shinzo in Boku no Hero Academia. The purple-haired one. Wait, okay, interesting. Lots of supporting characters. Mibochi Reo and Kuroko no Basket. Okay, but it's been a few years since I've seen that last. Did you... Wow. This man has voiced so many fucking characters and I don't know him. What the hell? What the fuck? Well, props to him, I guess. There's still people out there that I don't know, so props to him.
じゃ遠慮なし
Well,
と
let's see.
お邪魔しまーす
Oh. いらっしゃい。
Ooh, it's a new
プロ
background.
ネコ探偵事務所へ。
お
仕事のご依頼かな
ー。
浮気調査から鑑定分析一般事務まで何でもござれ。
He has a new outfit. He's a detective.
I was about to say, finally a new background CG, but oh, he has a... His hand is a little weird, but his outfit is cool.
ってなんだ。漁師くんと狼くんか。つまらないな。
つまらなくて悪かったな。せっかく仕事の依頼を持ってきてやったってのに。帰るぞ、狼。
He looks different without his giant fucking hat on.
ウィース
ああ、待って待って。お茶でも出すから寄ってってよ。
お茶菓
But the
子も
hand
よ
is
ろし
fucking
く
me up. It's not necessarily wrong. It's just the perspective that's making it look weird, I guess.
ちゃっかりしてるね。
Oh well.
で、仕事の依頼って？
お前、アリス・イリカのことは知っているな。
Oh, that's our name.
そう。
帰るぞ、狼。
ラジャー
ラジャー。
あ 待って待って、知ってる、知ってます。アリス・ユリカといえば君の大切な妹君で鏡の国のお姫様のことだよね。
We are princess in this world?
別に大切じゃねえけどな。
で、そのアリス城がどうしたの？まさか遺産相
Wait,
続
we're
に関す
actually
る
a
殺
princess
人事
this
件にで
time
も
round?
巻き込まれ
That's
たのか？
interesting.
勘がいいな。
But he's still our brother, that's good to know.
誰が殺されたの？
まだ誰も死んじゃいね
Who?
まだ
No one's
という
dead
ことは
yet.
これから
えよ。あ
Oh, I can change that. You actually gotta love detectives or detective working in games right now. Hmm.
おい、
First it was the cafes.
狼。
Now it's the detectives.
はい、これを見てください。
これは
開けてみろ。
ア
Ooh.
リス・ユリカ殿。次の満月の晩、私はあなたの命を
Choose
継ぐ
one
こ
of the
と
five
になる
brothers
でし
to
ょ
be
う。
your husband.
あなたが助かる方法はただ一つ。シンデレラ、白雪、赤ずきん、かぐや、グレーテルの5人の兄
Wait, are they
弟
all
の中
brothers
から
in this one?
一人を未来の夫として選ぶこと。
That's
ご丁寧に切り抜きで作ったん
an
だ。
interesting letter.
犯人はよほどの暇人と見える。
So they want to force us to marry someone?
それだけか。
随分と変わった脅迫状だね。誰か一人と結ばれなけ
Usually
れ
it's the
ば
opposite.
殺しますなん
Usually
て。
it's if you marry someone, I'll kill you.
ああ、
Eh?
見方によっては
But-
恋のキューピッドのようだ。
We have dated all of them before.
こうして二人は結ばれ幸せに暮らしましたとさ。
結ばれなきゃ殺されるなんて物騒すぎっすよ。
That's the
強制じゃねえっすか。
True. Where is it?
犯人は焦ってるのかもよ。
Where is the contract?
何に？
アリス城が誰かとハッピーエンドを迎えられないことに。
わけわかんねえ。なんで脅迫状を送るやつがアリスちゃんのハッピーエンドを願ってるんすか？
それを僕に調べろってことでしょ。
Sure.
そういうことだ。
That'll look way too orderly. It's a very good letter.
ちなみにそれって誰の依頼？漁師くん？
But like to be fair, cutting out letters from a newspaper and pasting them together to, you know, make another letter or another word with it is annoying and it takes a long, long time. I don't have the patience for that kind of stuff.
俺がお前に頼ると思うか？
まあ頼らないよね君は。
これは他ならぬ。
お
鏡の国のお姫様本人の依頼だ。
へえ、そうなんだ。
Nyum, nyum.
アリス城。
Maybe we wrote it ourselves.
彼女は何を考えているの？
Maybe we wrote it ourselves. In the end, the stuff in Red's Root, where we were blackmailed as well, was mostly also our own thing. At some point,
さあな。
I wouldn't be
あ
surprised
い
if
つの
we
考
wrote
え
it
が分かっ
ourselves
たら苦労はしない。
to get the RZA to.
あいつはまともじゃないから
Look into
な
it.。
自分の妹なの
So,
妹だから言うんだよ。
に。で、5人の兄弟とアリス城の関係は？
アリス・ユリカのことは知ってるんじゃないのか？
知っているけど、あえて聞いてるんだよ。ほら、確認っていうかさ。
I also saw the reader gets an update on how this world works.
次男の白雪、三男の赤ずきん、そして四男のかぐや、
Huh?
五男のグレーテル。鏡の国で
Snow
は
White
知ら
is
ぬ
the
者はいない
second oldest?
有
What?
名な兄弟だ。
The other stuff is the same as, you know, when they were our brothers in Cinderella's route, but in Snow White's route, sorry. Snow White is the second oldest? What?
彼らは現在、アリス家。
Oh, they all live with us? What?
妹と一緒に暮らしている。
Eh?
逆ハーレムだね。
めっちゃ卑猥っす。
Wolfie.
心配じゃないのお兄ちゃん。
別に。
ツンデレだ。
ツンデレっすね。
あいた。
一緒に暮らしてるのは全員
Huh?
アリス・ユリカの婚約者だからだ。
She's what now? Why is she engaged to all of them? I had that same dream again. Who's me? My name is Yurika Arisu and I'm 19 years old. I live in a mansion with my 5 handsome fiancés. Cinderella the oldest. Snow White the second son. Red Riding Hood the third son. Kaguya the fourth son. And Gretel the youngest. 5? Yeah! Oh no, Captain Caps Lock. I first met them about 1.5 years ago, and you're already engaged? To all of them? What the fuck? At the time I was living in another country and I only knew of them through my brother's letters. My brother worked as a hunter in a small rural town I had visited several times previously. The 5 brothers were his patients. I remember wanting to run out and meet them straight away, but we were divided by a vast ocean, so it wasn't that simple. Wait, patience? He's a hunter. What is that hunter job? No, I'm not. Definition? What's... No, not job hunting. What is the... Hunter. Definition. That's not helping. Wait, the Cambridge Dictionary says a person or an animal that hunts animals for food or for sport. A type of horse, especially one used in hunting animals. That's, well, not helping. Why does he have patience if he's a hunter? I don't get it. Okay. Eventually, after persuading a lot of people and filling out a lot of paperwork, I finally made it to that town from my past. When I first met them, I didn't know how to feel about it. I was both happy and sad at the same time. I was happy to have met them, but I was also sad to have met them. You see, once upon a time I had a crush. A crush on a boy I had met just once when I was little. But he was a light in the darkness and he helped me find myself. So when I met the 5 brothers I knew, they were probably lost in the darkness just as I had been. Okay. The brothers were really down on their luck, so I talked to my family and begged them to help. Fortunately, my parents were sympathetic to the brothers' plight. As it turned out, they had already taken measures of their own accord, specifically adoption paperwork. My father asked me if I wanted to bring them into our family. Since I would be living in the same house as the 5 brothers, he wanted to give me the chance to decline. At this I was slightly disappointed. Surely he wouldn't expect me to decline after coming all the way here. It would make sense if he had given me the final say, yet the words he used were the chance to decline. In other words, he wasn't fully on board with the idea himself. If I showed him even the tiniest hint of hesitation, he would change his mind and shut the door in their faces. Of course, I didn't resent my parents for this. It was by their grace alone that we were even having this conversation to begin with. But it was then that I understood only I could save them. So I looked my father in the eye with steadfast determination. I'm fine with it. First, we proposed the idea to the eldest son, Cinderella. But Cinderella refused. My father and I didn't understand why. Admittedly, perhaps it was unreasonable to expect them to agree to join our family when they barely knew us. They weren't children after all. They were grown adults with their own agency. That being said, however, they weren't strong enough to live on their own. Internally, I started to panic. I had only just met the brothers, but at this rate, I'd be torn apart from them. Right around then, my brother finally spoke up for the first time, suggesting my brothers look after me as my fiancés. I was utterly thrown for a loop. My brother and I had lived apart ever since I was young, so he didn't feel much like family. He didn't seem comfortable around me either, so I never imagined he would try to help me. Later I would learn that he was trying to help the brothers, not me. Apparently he was closely acquainted with Snow White, who wasn't present at the time, and since Cinderella already trusted my brother a great deal, he agreed to the proposal. And so my 5 fiancés and I started our new life together in a mansion my parents owned. Well, if my theory of all of these people just being different facets of Alice is correct, then it's literally just one person living with us, but with different personalities. But okay. We lived happily ever after. If only that were actually the case. Oh boy. Well, we were now engaged and we still didn't know each other very well, and in the beginning things were tense. I had heard a lot about them from my brother, but when I actually met them in person, they were nothing like what I expected. Their ages, hobbies, and interests all varied widely, and now I was expected to share my home with them, so it was kind of a lot. Obviously, I liked them all very much, but I wasn't in love with them. However, if I was going to live with them, then I wanted us all to get along, so I actively reached out to them. I adapted myself to their interests and preferences, so also they would like me, and I took steps to ensure that they would feel comfortable. I wanted to be the one person who understood them most. Oh, my brother helps me. Or not. And for their part, they appear to like me too. I think Ryoshi cares a lot about us, but I think the part we saw in Snow White's route is also very much true, because there's a big age difference between us, and because for some reason everything seems to fall to us very easily. It's kind of hard for him to interact with us. So even if he does care, he can't really show it much. But we'll see about it. Once I was comfortable in my new home in the countryside, it was time to start thinking about college. Naturally, there weren't a ton of options out here, so I defaulted to the nearest one. Ideally, I would have liked for all 6 of us to attend the same school, but we weren't on the same level GPA-wise. At first, I wasn't looking forward to college, but once I got settled in, it turned out to be pretty fun. And that was where I met my good friend Wolfie. Wolfie was the kind of guy who knew when to stand back and let someone else have the spotlight. If this was a work of fiction, he'd be the protagonist's supportive best friend. Haha, wink, wink, wink. When I told him about my current situation, Wolfie carefully positioned himself so he would be able to step in and help me whenever I needed it. It was around then that Gretel started calling me sister out of respect. My brother wasn't comfortable with it, but I didn't mind at all. Initially, my parents were worried about us all living together, but they quickly saw that there was nothing to fear. Before long, they had to leave town on a business trip. They weren't eager to leave their only daughter behind, but they knew my brother was around. Besides, they had important jobs to do. While I was willing to drop everything for the sake of someone I cared about, they were not. And that's how I ended up living with my 5 fiancés in a mansion in the middle of nowhere. I had everything I needed. I was a healthy, active person, and I was good at household chores, but I think she's also wealthy, so... Sure, some people might think it immoral for a young woman to share a roof with a bunch of young men, but our engagement was formally approved by my parents. As far as I was concerned, no one had the right to judge me. I was happy. How old are they all?
Yurika.
Hi.
Yurika.
Yurika-san.
Yurika-san.
Yurika-chan.
Yurika-san. Oh.
Yurika-ne-san.
Yurika-ne-san. Oh.
The more time we spent together, the more I grew to love them. Not out of pity or charity. I genuinely fell for them. In fact, I was willing to die for them. Is this a Persona game? Yurika is now ready to die for you. Maybe that was merely an emotional exaggeration, but my passion was white hot, burning me from the inside out. I was so sure I knew everything about them, but that was my hubris. While they looked stable at first glance, they were all carrying deep emotional scars that could detonate at the slightest touch. But even then, maybe time, if there was enough of it, could have healed those wounds. Unfortunately, time was the one thing they didn't have. One body, one soul. My love could not be divided, and so I would have to choose.
Chip, 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 chip.
私立探偵ですか?
Yeah. There we were in the living room of the Odyssey estate having a heated argument. How did this happen, you ask? Well, it all started when I received a certain letter in the mail this morning. The envelope bore only my name, no return address, and when I opened it, I found a letter that read something like, "Choose one of the 5 brothers to be your future husband by the next full moon or I kill you." Spelled out in cut-out letters. Alas, I was kind of hoping it would be a love letter. If this person is serious, then they're going to try to murder me on the next full moon. Oh my god, the screen is suddenly really fucking full when all of them are actually in the same place at once. So I'm going to have a detective track down a culprit. I explained myself in a calm voice.
だからってなんでそんなうさんくさいもんに頼るんだよ。
Oh. Well, despite my best intentions, everyone else seemed to see it as a bad move. Apparently, they had an innate distrust of detectives. No surprise there, I suppose. The brothers were all very private people to some extent or another.
シンデレラ兄さんの言う通りです。ここには
Okay, you're a
警
police
察官である
officer?
私がいるのですから
Again?
心配は無用です。
Okay. Even Red Riding Hood was opposed to the idea. But Red...
なので今日からあなたを24時間つきっきりで監視させていただきます。
He informed me with a perfectly straight face. We had that already. He tilted his head like he honestly didn't know why the whole room had gone silent. 24-hour surveillance. Really?
それって彼女のあんなことやこんなことまで監視するってことだよね。
Thank you for the idle time. Snow White and Gretel shot him withering looks while Kaguya smiled stiffly.
そういうわけでは。
Blushing Red shook his head and waved his hands in front of his face.
ま、こいつがこんな調子だし、あんたが他のものに頼りたいって気持ちはわかる。
Aww, don't be mean.
だからって、なんでそこで私立探偵なんだよ。うさんくさい響きしかないだろ。
Why? What's the difference between a detective and a private eye? Eh? Cinderella slammed his hands on the table. I don't think we can make such sweeping generalizations about an entire field. Once again, I offered my rebuttal calmly. I knew they liked to keep to themselves, but it wasn't right to make such harsh assumptions about someone they'd never even met. Besides, they did never say this. I had already sent my brother to visit an agency on my behalf. At this stage, there was no going back. After all, the detective was already on his way here as we spoke.
まあ俺は第三者に頼むのもありだと思うよ。
After a moment, Snow White reluctantly backed me up.
なぜですか？
もしこの脅迫状が本物なら、俺たちのうちの誰かが犯人ということにもつながるからだよ。
Backed me up, right over a cliff by the looks of it.
まあそれが一番しっくりきますよね。やんな。
Then Gretel and Kaguya piped up at last, fixing me with accusatory looks. Everyone was ganging up on me and I was starting to feel pressure. Perhaps Snow White sensed this because he fanned the flames even harder.
Thank you for the posture check.
脅迫状を送るということは、送った側に何らかの目的があるからだ。わかりやすく言えば、
But who sends a blackmail letter to force someone to marry?
要求が何であれ、普通は
Especially if it's like a blackmail letter to force you to marry one of your fiancés and not like, you know, the person who sent the blackmail letter. I don't know.
この脅迫状の送り主はアリスに、死の後の言わず、5人の中から夫を選べ。この要求が叶って誰が得をするのかって考えれば、
I mean, he's right.
それは俺たち5人のうちの誰かで
He
し
is
かない。
right. They would stand to gain from it, but
何しろ、俺たちはみんな君のことを好きなんだから。
oh,
だから君は俺たちじゃなくて、
wow, he
外部
he
の
just
人間
fucking
にこの
drops
騒
that
ぎ
in
の
the
顛
first
末を探らせようとして
hour
る
of
ん
the
だな。
route. Damn. Well, I folded. The room was so rowdy just moments before, but now you could practically hear a pin drop. Snow White had sown the seeds of suspicion in the minds of every single person here. An eternity seemed to pass as a suffocating fog of paranoia hung over us. Then the doorbell rang, breaking the silence at last. Oh,
誰か来たみたいですね。
Red rose from his chair. I get it. I stopped and then hurried out of the living room. After all, it would be rude to keep our visitor waiting. But then again, maybe I just wanted an excuse to get out of there as fast as possible. I have hiccups again. I swear to God.
すみません。アリスさん、いらっしゃいますか？
Yo.
The visitor called for me in a crisp voice that cut through the evening air. Who is it? Obviously, there could only be one person who would visit me at a time like this. But it never hurts to double check. Who knows? Maybe it's the culprit here to stab me the moment I open the door.
あなたのお兄様よりご依頼をいただきました。
To be fair, I think that has happened to me in some bad endings. It's like, you know, the bad endings that really have no substance at all, that are literally just like, oh, you had the option to go left and you had the option to go right, and you went left when you should have gone right. Now you're dead. Someone stabbed you. You don't even get to see who. It's literally never explained. It's just like, oh, you walked into an alley and you got mugged. And now you're dead. Those are my most hated bad endings. Because it's like, wow, gee, I sure had to fucking make a save here, reload that same save, read those two scenes, two text boxes, and then I have a bad ending. And now I can get back to the main story. Great, thanks. To be fair, the wizard also had some endings that were literally just like, we walk out, he kills us, end, but... I guess. I locked the front door and opened it. Come on in.
どうも。
Domo.
On the other side was a man in a suit. He inclined his hat politely. His reddish-brown hair and amber eyes afforded him a gentle air that put me at ease. Somehow I just knew it was safe to trust him. I've been waiting for you, detective.
My name's Yurika Arisu.
これはご丁寧なご挨拶をどうも。美しいお嬢さん。
Oh.
僕は魔法使いと言います。
He reached out for a handshake. The wizard? Puzzled, I tentatively clasped his hand in
変わ
return.
った名前でしょ？よく言われます。
I mean, my brother is literally called Hunter. Hunter. That's not a name at all, it's just a job title. But I kept this quite quip to myself. If he wanted to introduce himself as the wizard, that was his prerogative.
早速ですが、
I give up.
詳しくお話を聞かせていただきたいのですが。
Oh, of course, follow me, Mr. Wizard.
You wizard, Harry.
I led him into the living room. Instantly, the five brothers all turned to look at us. None of them looked very happy to see our visitors, some less so than others.
これは。全く歓迎されてないようですね。
The wizard smiled awkwardly. Please have a seat. I led him to the sofa and turned in the direction of the kitchen, but before I could move a muscle...
姉さん、お茶の準備は僕が。
Gretel rose to his feet. He eyed the wizard next to me with deep suspicion.
君がグレーテル君？5人兄弟の末っ子で、アリス・ユリカさんとは生まれた時から共に暮らしているそうで、学業も大層立派な成績だそうですね。
The wizard seemed to know a lot about Gretel. He must have done a background check of some kind.
よくご存知で。
いえいえ、基本的な情報ですから。
I mean,
これくらいは事前に調べておかないと、ことはスムーズに進みませんからね。
そうですか。
With that, Gretel walked off to the kitchen as if to suggest he couldn't possibly care less. Once he was gone, the wizard plunked himself down in the newly vacated chair.
さて、お話をお聞かせ願いますか。
As he spoke, he held out a blackmail letter that had set off this entire chain of events. Right. I sat on the sofa and looked at the table. There were now two identical letters lying there. One was the real blackmail letter and the other was a copy I'd given my brother. As you're all aware, I found this letter in our mailbox just this very morning.
拝見させていただきました。随分と変わった脅迫状ですね。
Yeah.
ちなみに、あなたは脅迫状の送り主に心。
I paused to think for a moment but ultimately shook my head. No.
他の皆さんは？
知らねえよ。
Cinderella spoke as if on behalf of his brothers.
そうですか。
The wizard crossed his legs and folded his arms. He carried himself like a confident, competent man. Mr. Wizard, I'd like you to find out who sent this to me.
もちろん。 僕はそのために呼ばれたのですから。
Yeah, that is exactly what you're here for.
He's smart, rightly.
しかし、あなたがよく知る5人のうちの1人と結ばれれば、命の危機からは脱することができる。
Would it though?
こんな脅迫状を送りつけて、犯人は一体何がしたいんでしょうね。
Oh, excuse me. What exactly is the culprit after, I wonder? His smile didn't waver, but his gaze wandered probingly. Cinderella seemed to sense this because he let out a long sigh.
やっぱり俺たちが怪しいと踏んでるわけだな。
My heart ached as though the crime was my own. After all, I was the one who had summoned a detective to investigate them.
これは長男のシンデレラさん。やっぱりということはどういうことですか？僕は別に君たちの中に犯人がいるだなんて言ってないですよ。それとも脅迫状の送り主に心当たりが？
At this, Cinderella fell silent. Not for lack of anything to say, however. This was a purposeful silence. But the wizard simply ignored him and carried on.
三男の赤ずきんさんはあなたですか？
It's so weird to me that Red Riding Hood is the third oldest. Snow White just looks so tiny.
はい。
警察の方だそうですが、そんな素晴らしい職についている方が身内にいるのでしたら、僕みたいなしがない探偵を頼らなくてもよかったのでは？
それに関しては私も彼女にそう言いました。ですが
彼女は探偵である僕を頼りにした。
Ooh!
つまり彼女は警察は信用でき
Eureka
ない
said
と思っているわけですね。
ACAB. Eureka ACAB Addison. After Red Riding Hood fell silent, the wizard turned the spotlight on Kaguya beside him.
で、あなたが四男のかぐやさん。なるほど。お聞きした通り、随分と風変わりないでたちですね。
そう見えますかね。
After seeing how the previous two conversations went, Kaguya was unsurprisingly on
い
guard.
え、お似合いだと思いますよ。
んせやな。
What? Is that what? I'm sorry, is that your everyday attire? Kaguya looked confused by the question.
ではあなたがその衣服とお面を身につけていなければ、誰にも気づかれずに行動することも可能なわけですね。
What appeared at first glance to be a mere curveball had now struck Kaguya square in the face.
何なんそれってつまり僕を疑ってるってことなん？
Kaguya's usual laid-back veneer was threatening to slip.
いえ、例えばの話です。例えばの。
そ
I
んな
don't
例え
think it
話
was
今
any
する
of
こ
the
となん？
brothers. But the wizard gracefully ignored his retort.
ああ、それで君が次男の白雪さんかな。これはまた随分とお綺麗な方だ。
Watch it, you're playing with fire. Specifically, Snow White did not take kindly to people describing his appearance as pretty or cute.
あなたは学生というわけではなく、働いているわけでもない。いわゆる家事手伝いという肩書きで常に家にいるそうですね。
Man, I wish that was me. Snow White turned away and refused to answer.
もしかして先ほどの僕の発言が気に障りましたか？それならばすみません。思ったことを口にしてしまうのが僕の悪い
Yeah,
癖でして。
I can understand why none of them would like him. Silently, Snow White rose to his feet and left the living room altogether.
尋問は済みましたか探偵さん？
Just then, Gretel walked back in carrying a tray of teacups. With a gallant smile, he placed one on the table in front of the wizard.
これはどうもご丁寧に。
But before the wizard could pick it up, it disappeared in a blur. Gretel had snatched it away. His gallant smile was gone, replaced with a nasty sneer. Gretel! He was being unspeakably rude, but before I could scold him, the wizard raised a hand to stop me. The smile on his face told me, I'll handle this.
ところであなたは姉であるアリス・ユリカさんのことをとても慕っているそうで。
He quickly changed tack.
そうですよ。それが何か？
いいえ、実に仲のいいご兄弟だと思ったまでですよ。 ただちょっとその行為が行き過ぎているという話も小耳に挟みましてね。
Oh, I saw blue light outside. The smile vanished from Gretel's face. No surprise there, since the wizard had basically implicated him in the crime.
探偵さんは頭で紅茶を飲むことができますか？
はい。
頭皮から紅茶を摂取したいですか？
He raised a cup of tea he had snatched.
いや、ごく普通に口から味わいたいものです。
Even the wizard couldn't shrug that one off.
ならばさっさと紅茶で口を塞いでください。でないと大やけどをすることになりますよ。
With a stiff smile, the wizard accepted the teacup from Gretel. Damn! From there, Gretel placed the teacup in front of everyone else, and we all had a lovely tea time. If only the mood in the room wasn't quite so oppressive. This was perhaps asking a lot, however, given that the brothers were hardly inclined to trust the detective. Ultimately, I couldn't deny that this was all my fault. I was the one who had received the blackmail, and I was the one who had hired a detective. I couldn't even taste my tea. So, how much do you know about us, Mr. Wizard? Summoning all my courage, I broke the heavy silence.
というと?
Based on the comments you've made, it sounds like you have an overall outline of each of us.
そうですね。長男のシンデレラ、次男の白雪、三男の赤ずきん、そして四男のかぐや、五男のグレーテル。彼らは血のつながった兄弟であり、現在アリス城のお屋
It's
敷に
funny
揃
to
って
me
お
how in the
世話
English
になって
version
い
it
ると
says
いう
the eldest and then second, third, fourth, and youngest. But in Japanese, he literally just says son 1, son 2, son 3.
そして5人の兄弟たちはそれぞれアリス城の婚約者だというこ
That
と。
they are.
もちろん結婚できるのはそのうちの一人だけですが、肝心のアリス城は
I mean, I
今の
guess
今
we
まで
could
選べないでい
just
た
marry all of
とい
them.
うところかな。
Maybe.
全部じゃねえか。
まあそうかもしれません。
For a moment, I stared down silently at the amber liquid in my cup. Then I felt a gaze on me and looked up, directly into a pair of equally amber
あな
eyes.
たは犯人は身近にいると思っているんですよね。
That would make sense, yes. Well, my heart skipped a beat. It almost felt like he was accusing me. At this, the dam burst, and the five brothers started to turn on each other.
赤ずきん兄さん。そういえばさっき、
Uh-oh.
兄さんは姉さんを一人で守ろうとしましたけど。
私は違います。
どもるのが怪しい。
違いません。
いや、僕はみんなの剣幕に押されてっていうか、僕は違うで。
半笑いなのが怪しいな。
待ってやみんな。いくらなんでもそのような理由で僕が犯人やって結論付けるのは早いんやないかな。だってほら、僕には、いや、僕たちにはそんなことする動機がないわけやし。
動機がない？どうしてそんなことが言えるんですか？
いや
まあ動機って言うなら一番怪しいのはグレーテルになるよな。
Suspecting every... that's not good.
なんで僕なんですか？
なんでってそりゃ
お
お前のアリスへの執着が常軌を逸しているからだ。
はあ、そんなことですか。別にそれは否定しませんけど、執着が強すぎるから姉さんを殺すだなんて矛盾していませんか？
それはお前あれだろ。手に入らないならいっそこの手でってやつだろ。
人をヤンデレみたいに言わないでください。
But aren't you though? You just...
お前がヤンデレじゃなかったら何なんだ。ヤンヤンか。
Will you stop the family void? Yes, I will. It's enough! The next thing I knew, I was shouting and writing down the choice I made. Because all of the choices are literally just yes and no.
アリス。
Well, except for a few.
ねえ、
All eyes turned to me. I started to tremble. The room was toasty warm, yet somehow I was freezing. Because of me, the man I loved were now at each other's throats. I felt like a monster. The wizard rose to his feet and extended a hand in my direction.
どうやらアリス城は気分が悪いようだ。少し休んだ方がいい。
I apologize. I took his hand, rose from the sofa, and hurried out of the room as if it were on fire. At the top of the stairs, I gazed out at the moon peeking out from behind the clouds and let out a small breath. I had about 5 days until the next full moon. Either I would need to choose one of the 5 brothers as my husband, or I would have to hunt down the culprit and prevent him from harming me. I kept thinking and thinking, but I couldn't come to a decision. I let out another
ア
sigh.
リス嬢
I turned in the direction of the stairs. Yo! There I could see the wizard in the darkness halfway up the staircase.
ご気分の方はどうですか
A lot better, thanks. I donned a peachy smile. Sorry for making a scene back there. Should we go back to the living room and continue the discussion, or would you rather call it a night? As I approached him, he suddenly grabbed me by the arm. Startled, I watched as he leaned in close to me and pressed his forehead to
うー
mine.
ん熱はないみたいだけど
Bro, you're a little too close. He gazed into my eyes. What are you...
熱が出てきた大丈夫
Bruh. I'm fine, fit as a fiddle, raring to go. I hastily pushed him away from me.
そのようだ
Don't just get up in my face like that, please. He laughed cheerfully. Is he teasing me? He totally is, isn't he? I apologize for worrying you. I dropped a little act and let out a sigh. For some reason, it felt like he could see right through
い
me.
やいや他のご兄弟もあなたのことを心配していましたよ
Right,
みんなあなたのことをとても大切に思っているようだ
right. I smiled and nodded. I knew they cared. After all the time we'd spent together was plain to see. And I cared about them too. That was why I was having such a hard time with this. So, did you find any clues?
そうですね怪しいといえばみんな怪しい
Wow.
怪しくないといえばみんな怪しくないといったところでしょうかつまりは何もわからないとい
They
う
all
こ
could
と
have
で
done
す
it, but on the other hand, they don't really have a reason to do it. I guess it'll take some time. The smile faded from my face and I headed right back up the stairs again. Back at the landing, I spun around to face him. Mr. Wizard, to be quite honest with you, I don't care one whit whether I live or die. What truly pains me is that this crisis is destroying their family. I regret ever letting it come to this. Part of me wishes I'd simply thrown the letter away. I put my heart out to him.
それでも遅から早かれあの兄弟たちは誰があなたを手に入れるかという戦いを始めたことでしょう
Oh.
ただその日が来たのが今日だった
He spoke as though he were all-knowing. What should I do?
君が誰か一人を選べばすぐに解決するよ
He made it sound so kantan. I get that, really I do, but I love all of them. I can't possibly choose just one. Rationally speaking, I was being incredibly self-centered and cruel. I was acting as though my feelings were the only ones that mattered. I knew I was being selfish and procrastinating on my problems, but right now I wanted to maintain that status quo. It was a quiet night. In the absence of our voices, there were no sounds to be heard. Maybe he didn't know what to say. After all, he barely knew me. And while I was indeed his client, that didn't mean he wanted to hear my entire life story. I tried to think of some way to change the subject.
君に魔法を見せてあげよ
No. I do not trust you and your funny little spells. Then out of nowhere, the wizard made me an unusual offer. A spell, as in a magic spell.
うそうだよなんてったって僕は魔法使いだからね
He shot me a wink. I thought you were a detective.
探偵は世を忍ぶ仮の姿なのさしてその正体は
Aha.
暗闇に迷える子羊を正しき道に導く魔法使いなのであります
魔法使いであります He reached behind his back and pulled out an oversized wizard hat.
さてさてここにありますは赤いまん丸リンゴこのリンゴを跡形もなく消してしまいましょう
Next, he retrieved an apple from God knows where. Excuse me. Is this a magic trick?
そうとも言うね
Just like that, he readily admitted that it was just a magic trick. Aren't you supposed to use a top hat for this? I mean, if it works, it works. With a deft hand, he showed me the inside of his empty hat as if to say no tricks, no gimmicks. Then he pointed a hole toward the ceiling and held the apple over it. Once he was ready, he closed his eyes and began to recite an incantation in the direction of the
あ
apple.
らざるべき場に健全せしエデンの果実よ。本来あるべき場所に帰りたまえ。
Isn't that a bit too epic for just a
リ
little
ン
apple?
ゴリンゴアッポーマンサーマヤブラカン。はい。
Why does it just say apple in German? Ringo, Ringo, Apfel, Manzana, Jabuka, go! Shouting, he dropped the apple into the hat. There was a loud thud, as if it had collided with something hard. What was that?
気にしちゃダメですよ。
He smiled stiffly. Maybe this wasn't supposed to happen?
さあさあとくとご覧くださいな。確かに帽子の中に落ちたリンゴははい。
He raised. Oh my god, excuse me. He raised the hat with both hands to show me the inside. Sure enough, the apple was nowhere to be seen. However, the wizard's posture was somewhat unnatural. The way he suppressed the midsection of the hat made me suspicious. Maybe there was a mirror or false bottom in there. But then again, all magic tricks required some sort of sleight of hand, and I didn't want to embarrass him by pointing it out. Bravo! So instead I applauded his efforts.
拍手が起こるまですごく間があったのが僕としては気になるな。
Or must be your imagination. No, there wasn't. I smiled brightly. Thank you, Mr. Wizard. That was the first time anyone ever performed a magic trick for me, and I really enjoyed it.
なんなんこれで終わりじゃないですよ、お嬢さん。
It's not. He wagged his index finger in my face. Huh? I regarded him dubiously. In response, he donned a meaningful smirk and reached into his hat.
そしてここからは種も仕掛けもある魔法の始まり。
Then he pulled out exactly one half of an apple neatly sliced.
さてこのリンゴカットされた部分が見えないように君から見て正面向きにすればリンゴは元のまん丸のままに見えますよね。でもこうして横に90度回すと
I guess
半分にカットされているのだから当然半円に見える。さらに90度回せば赤い部分はまるで見えなくなってしまう。
yes.
こんな感じに見る角度を変えていくとまん丸だと思われた赤いリンゴは
You just-
様々な姿を見せるのさ。
Okay. As he spoke, he dropped the half apple back into his hat. Then he held it pointy side
そ
up.
して姿あるものはいつしか消えてしまう。リンゴの物語はここでおしまいというわけです。
Okay. This time he must have done the trick correctly because there were no weird thudding noises and the apple vanished without sound.
魔法使いの魔法ショー。これにて終了です。はい拍手。
박수.
He bowed deeply and I clapped. Reminds me of the phases of the moon when you think about it.
そうだね。そして君が今置かれ
What
てい
kind
る
of moon
現
do we
状で
have
もあ
right
る。
now even? I don't know. Then he placed his hat upon my head.
今君に見えているのは君が殺されるか兄弟の誰かと家庭を築いているかという
Round of
二
applause!
択の未来だ。
빠치빠치빠치빠치빠치빠치빠치.
でも見方を変えれば世界はガラリと変わる。選択肢は無限に増え未来もその選択の分枝分かれする。
Meaning?
言葉のままですよ。犯人は誰かだとか未来の夫だとか君は対極的。
I don't know.
そう
I
世
keep
界を
yawning
俯瞰
today.
すべきなのです。
What? I didn't understand what he was trying to tell me. Then he snickered.
月を見てアンニュイな気分に浸るだけじゃ道は開けないぞってことさ。
Damn, I
ア
thought
リ
it
ス・
would.
ユリカさん。
In other words, stop throwing yourself a pity party and take action. In that case, could I ask a favor of you?
はい、
Could I accompany you on your investigation?
もちろん。
Ooh. Evidently, the brothers had all gone back to their bedrooms. Thus, the wizard and I headed straight to Cinderella's room. I had made my indecisive moment. Indecisive? Moments, but once I finally did make a decision, I acted on it right away. Cinderella's personal quarters were located in the ballroom on the first floor. With elegant chandeliers and plenty of floor space, it was the perfect place to throw a party.
ねえ、
なんで俺が一番なんだよ。
Because you're the oldest.
Cinderella folded his arms and grumbled.
星の順です。
See? The wizard smiled and waved, and he replied without missing a beat.
そう言って実のとこは俺が一番怪しいって睨んでるんじゃないのか。
Cinderella looked at him suspiciously.
いえいえ、めっそうもない。
How will you mollify Cinderella's concerns? We flatter him.
Flitter.
Part of the reason we chose to go by age is because I knew you were the best person to ask about this kind of stuff, Cinderella. To prevent this conversation from going in circles, I hastily piped up.
ま、そうだよな。
Yeah, you sure love your
俺が
ego being
一番
stroked, don't
頼
you?
りになるもんだな。
Cinderella nodded gleefully.
で、何が聞きたいんだ。
ご協力ありがとうございます。ではまずは生活パターンをお聞きしたいのと、あとはご兄弟の仲とアリス城との仲もお聞きしたいですね。
日が昇る前に工房に出かけて日没とともに帰宅、風呂入って飯食って趣味でガラスいじって就寝、その繰り
No
返し
other
だ。
hobbies?
兄弟の仲はおおむね良好。ま、そんなに会話も多くはないけどな。ごく普通な兄弟像だろ。で、アリスとは婚約者の間柄だ。以上。
あなたはアリス城のことをどう思っていますか？
好きだよ。それがどうした？
Ah, Cinderella. It was so sudden I nearly swooned.
それ
However,
は彼女がお金持ちのお嬢様だからですか？結婚したら逆玉ですよね。
at this Cinderella quirked the brow.
何が言いたい？
いえね。ただ純粋に気になったんです。あなたたち兄弟のアリス城への思いが
Calling
本
someone a
物
gold
か
digger
ど
to
う
the
か。
face is pretty harsh.
ちなみにアリス家に厄介になった理由と婚約者になった理由もお聞かせ願えますか？
住むところがなくなったら、こいつの水教な父親が母屋を与えてくれたんだよ。
He jerked a thumb in my direction without looking at
へ
me.
え。なぜ住むところがなくなったんです？
それは
At this he faltered.
シンデレラさん。確かあなたの家は子供の頃はお金持ちだったんですよね。しかしあなたのお父様は事業に失敗し、その穴を埋めるために闇金にまで手
So
を出
the
し
story
て
is
し
still
まっ
the
た。
same, huh?
膨らみ上がった借金を返すあてなどなく、あなたのお父様はお母様と幼いあなたを残し、
It
海
does
外に
work
高
out.
飛びしてしまった。
It does work out. If we know. Listen, if we take it like this. From Cinderella. They had a good life. Excuse me. The parents. But the father took out those loans and fled the country, which would make sense if we go by Snow White's story with the mother and the mother being left on her own with the child, without the husband, without any money, so she had to work lots of jobs, and well, it pretty much was implied that she had to whore herself out and stuff. That works together. I'm just confused on where the others fit in. Like Red Riding Hood is a personality that was definitely out and about whenever that one time when Snow White found himself outside and went back home to find the mom dead, because Snow White himself could not remember going outside. But if another personality was doing that, then sure, why not? Could have been Red Riding Hood. We know he went to the lake often enough. I just don't understand where Gretel fits in yet. I have no clue. Also, I think I'm missing someone. Who am I missing? Kaguya. I have no clue where Kaguya or Gretel fit in, but I will cling to that theory until it's disproven.
それからの生活はとても苦しかったそうですね。何しろあなたはお金持ちの息子だったんだ。
だから 俺が金目当てにこいつと結婚したいと思ってると。
Well, it's a valid reason as any.
金目当てなんですか？
Cinderella glanced at me and spoke in an icy voice.
だとしたら俺は犯人から外れるな。金目当てだとしたらこいつを殺すのはおかしいだろ。こいつと結婚しなきゃ逆玉に乗れねえしな。
確かに。
で、それが今回の事件になんか関係するのか？
今のところはないですね。
じゃあもういいだろう。職人の朝は早いんだ。もう寝かせてくれ。
わかりました。いろいろと有用なお話をお聞かせくださりありがとうございます。ではでは、失礼します。
With one hand on his chest, the wizard bowed politely. Sweet dreams, Cinderella. In response, Cinderella smiled softly.
おやすみ。
Hmm. Oh, why are we outside? The fuck? Next, he visited Red Riding Hood. He lived in a cabin a short distance from the main estate. Oh, okay. Red, you in there? Red, Mr. Wizard is here to see you. No matter how much I knocked, no answer came. The lights were on inside, but I knew Red Riding Hood wasn't the type to hide. If he was in there, he would have answered the door by now. I exchanged a glance with the wizard. He doesn't seem to be in there.
まだ今にいるのかもしれませんね。
In that case, let's hurry back. That doesn't make sense. He's not here either. That does not make sense. Why would you go all the way out into the woods to his cabin and then you see the lights on and then you go, maybe he's still in the living room at home. The fuck? Unfortunately, when we returned to the living room, Red Riding Hood was nowhere to be seen. Where on earth did he wander off to? Just in case, I checked under the table, but naturally he wasn't under there. Hey, Mr. I looked over, but before his name had fully left my lips, I stopped short. He was standing at the window looking outside. His folded arms and blank expression afforded him a listless air. I admit I was a little annoyed with him for zoning out, considering he was supposed to be helping me. But more than that, I was bewitched by his good looks. He didn't feel quite real, almost like I was looking at a Hollywood actor on a silver screen. The wizard felt my gaze and glanced in my direction.
外にいますね。
He pointed at the window. What? I hurried over and sure enough I could see Red Riding Hood standing out in the yard staring at the gates. What is he doing out there? Not only was it winter time, but it was the middle of the night. He had to be freezing his butt off. Wait, but we were just out there. How did we fail to notice him? Did we miss him on our way back inside? Those questions would have to wait. Questions. He's just fucking standing there. Red, what are you doing out here in the cold? Approaching him from behind, I called out to him.
何やミスアリスどうしたんですか
Huh? He rolled around and started flailing his arms wildly. I literally just asked you the same thing. I gave him a puzzled look, then he noticed the wizard standing next to me.
いえ私は犯人ではありません
Out of nowhere, he started denying any wrongdoing. How do you respond to Red Riding Hood's claim? We agree with him. I don't know what we're agreeing to, but sure. Let's agree with him. Being out in the cold is nice sometimes. True. If you're actually, you know, wearing clothes that are suitable to the cold outside, then that's nice. Evidently, he was in a full-blown panic. I let out a small sigh. I know that, Red. Let's all calm down, okay? I smiled softly at him and he slowly came to a stop like a robot running out of battery power.
はい
So what are you doing out here? He tucked his hood down low over his eyes, possibly out of embarrassment.
あんな脅迫状が届いたのですから今日から庭で警備に当たろうと思いました
Aww. But it's the middle of the night, and it's winter. I blinked at him dumbfounded. Make no mistake, Red Riding Hood was a kind-hearted, diligent man, but he lacked common sense. Besides, if the letter's to be believed, then the culprit won't try anything until the next full moon. This, I felt, was a bulletproof argument.
それは脅迫状を信じればですよね
He's right. I wasn't expecting this rebuttal. In short, Red Riding Hood didn't trust the blackmailer to actually keep the promise. He wore shirts with short sleeves all year. You are scary. I wear shirts with long sleeves all year round, pretty much. There's like 5 days a year where I wear short sleeves. If it's like really fucking hot. It was a valid point and one I hadn't considered. I guess you're right.
ですよね。ですから、あなたは自身の身の安全だけを考
Which
え
was
て
funny
いてください。
because it was apparently pretty warm today and my mom was like, oh, aren't you going to be hot in that? Because I was wearing, you know, a long sleeve, big sweater and you know, long pants and everything. But no, I was freezing at some point today still. Haha, so hehe. Every weather's sweater weather when you got body images just or if you're just someone who freezes easily. Sweater weather is a good song, by the way.
でも、じゃありません。
He looked firmly into my eyes. His expression was so intense it made me want to bolt. Normally I was the dominant type. I wasn't used to submitting, be it to criticism or anything else.
ミス・アリス、私は
Before he could finish, an exaggerated sneeze brought us back to reality.
お話の途中すみませんが、2、3質問してもよろしいでしょうか。
Evidently the wizard had been waiting for a chance to speak. The way he rubbed his palms together, he looked like a second-rate villain.
はい、どうぞ。
Caught off guard, Red smiled stiffly and stepped away from me. It was obvious he was flustered.
赤ずきんさん、あなたとアリス嬢は婚約者である。
Yes.
婚約者
What is your fucking problem? Whoa there, buddy. Rule number 1, never underestimate the power of riding hoods. Listen, for every funny thing this game is giving us right now, it's going to fucking hit us horribly with something sad or upsetting. I just know. I feel it in my bones. I feel it. I feel it in my weak as fuck bones. It's going to hit us.
すみません。ついうっかり噛んでしまいました。婚約者ですね。その通りです。私は彼女の婚約者で間違いありません。
Yes, you are. Blushingly red, he struggled to recover.
そのことにあなたは不満を持っている？
不満だなんて。これはこのお屋敷に私のようなものを置いてくれたミス・アリスのお父上
I
が決
think
めた
it's a
ことで
weird
すから。
condition though. Like, hi, I would like to adopt you and your 4 brothers, but you all have to get engaged to my daughter. For what? What? Okay, what? Like Cinderella, Red Riding Hood made mention of my father. My father worked as a doctor at a university hospital. He was a quiet, virtuous man with eccentric tastes and an irresponsible streak. It was he who enabled me to live with the 5 brothers, and it was he who approved our engagement. I had expected the next question to center on that subject, but as it turned out, I was slightly off.
5人の兄弟全員がアリス嬢の婚約者であることに少しでもおかしさを感じませんか？
それもミス・アリスのお父上が決めたことですから。
なるほど。ではあなたは彼女のお父様がそう決めたからそうしてるだけであって、実のところ彼女のことは特に好いてはいないと。
Don't be fucking rude.
それはありえません。
Red Riding Hood denied it loudly. Our eyes met.
ありえません。
Then he averted his gaze.
ではできれば結ばれたいと考えている？
His face flushed all over again and he hung his head to escape my gaze. Then after a long silence.
私には彼女と
Oh,
結ばれる資格はありません。ですから、
baby.
それに値する男になる必要があるのです。
You know, I think Red will keep being my favorite boy, not gonna lie.
あなたの身は私が必ず守りま
He's
す。
cute.
守らなければならないんです。
I know Haichi! Good evening, how are you? It's like, with most Otome games, it's like I look at the character cast and I have like 1 or 2 faves just from how they look. I never really look at the trailers for this kind of stuff, where they kind of introduce characters sometimes. So really, I only go by the character design. And honestly, most of the time, it has stayed that way, that I still like the characters whose designs I like the most. I also like personality-wise. Like, I cannot remember a game, an Otome game I played in recent years where that was not the case. It was like maybe the first and the second fave switched around, but other than that, I think it's, you know, it's always been like, I look at one guy and go, oh, I'm going to like you, and in the end I like them.
Oh, you want a Pikachu? Okay. Pikachu. Pika Pika. Pikachu.
Ooh, sorry, that was a bit loud. It's like with Cafe Enchanted, I looked at Eel. I was like, that's the one, officer. That's the one. And it stayed that way. Even after, you know, finishing the entire game. Especially after finishing the entire game. I really like him. Thank you for the Hydra Time and Poster Chat. The problem is just I don't really remember any other Otome games I've played in recent years. Well, Colin Malice I played. And I like Kei and... what's his name? Sasazuka the most? Just from their design. And it stayed that way even after finishing the entire game. Zzz. It's 2 games. I don't know any other Otome games I've played off the top of my head right now. But like, I think I'm very predictable with my type. It's like if I show you guys some of my favorite characters, you'd go, yeah. That looks like a newer type of character. And most of the time it's going to be through. Another plus point is if a character is voiced by Saito Soma. Which is funny because a character in Color Malice is voiced by Saito Soma and I don't really like him that much. But other than that, it's like, ooh, there's a character voiced by Saito Soma in here. He's a really good voice. He also voices Gentaro. What's his name? I forgot his name. Gentaro something in Hypnosis Microphone. And lots of stuff. Yamaguchi in Haikyuu. I don't really know what he's been in the most recent years, but I really like his voice. And so far there hasn't been a scandal with him that would make me absolutely loathe hearing his voice like some other people that are out there. Still having their jobs even after cheating on their wives, for example. Aha! Aha! Tatsuya Suzuki. Who is not in this game. Luckily. He mumbled under his breath. Oh, Red. He was so shy and sweet and sincere. I loved him to bits.
守ることに固執しているんですね。守るといえば約束でしょうか。
A distant blood drained from Red's face. Meanwhile, the wizard continued his merciless interrogation.
あなたは昔嘘をついたことが原因で人が離れてしまった経験があるとお聞きしましたが。
Oh?
それは本当でし
Is
ょう
the
か。
backstory with the grandma still in this one? But that doesn't make sense. We are best friends with Wolfie.
黙秘ですか。わかりました。ではもう一つ質問なのですが、あなたは警察のお仕事をされているわけですが、普段はどういったことを？
いろいろです。
いろいろとは？
企業秘密です。
Oh. Mr. Wizard, Red's not really at liberty to discuss his work. I hastily cut in. He cares a lot about protecting the privacy of the citizens.
そうですか。 それならば仕方ありませんね。ではあなたの所属だけでも。
At this, Red finally seemed to
警
concede.
視庁捜査一課の
Ooh, investigation.
He answered
あり
matter-of-factly.
がとうございます。それでは今日はこの辺りで。お仕事頑張ってください。
Red turned his back to us, his expression hard. Please don't get pneumonia or anything, okay? I called out to him.
大丈夫です。ミス・アリスも気をつけて。
Will do.
おやすみなさい、
Mm.
ミス・アリス。
Good night, Red. Next up, Kaguya, the fourth son. We headed over to a single-story building a short distance from the mansion. We probably should have come straight here instead of looking for Red, but I wasn't thinking. The sign out front read the bamboo house. Oh?
はい
Hi! Kaguya called out from behind the lattice door. Sorry to bother you, it's me, Yuri Karisu. At this I heard him reach for the lock. However,
兄さんお聞きしたいことがあるのですが、お時間少々よろしいですか？
Kaguya froze. Please, Kaguya, we just want to talk to you if that's okay. Desperately, I called out to him before he could ghost us.
ええよ。で、聞きたいことっちゅうのは何ですか？
Interesting, he still lives in a bamboo
僕が
house
一番
here.
怪しいってことですか？
He asked before the wizard could get a word in edgewise.
いえいえ、そうではなく、とりあえず考えをまとめたい
We
の
have
で、
like
皆さんからいろ
we
いろ
have
お聞き
5
しているだけなんです
days
よ。
to either find the culprit or just, I don't know, date one of them. Which would explain why this game has 19 achievements. The wizard continued to smile unflinchingly.
キーさんと一緒に？
Yeah.
彼女のたっての願いでして。
そうなんや。ほんならどうぞ。
Likewise, Kaguya maintained a smile of his own. For some reason, this dueling smile thing was making me really uncomfortable.
まず、あなたは普段何をしているんですか？
喫茶店でウェイターの仕事をやってます。
Oh, he does.
商店街の中心に変わった外観の店があるんやけど、そこの店主が身寄りのない僕を置いてくれたんや。
Hello. Hi. No, don't touch me. Okay.
I see. The cat just came into the room just to say hello, nudge my hand like twice, and leave again. That's valid. That's very typical for a cat, I guess. Kaguya looked at me and I
あな
nodded.
たはアリス城と婚約者の間柄ということは間違いないで
As we
す
have
か？
established.
せやで。
そのことについて不満は？
別にないな。
他の兄弟を邪魔だと思ったことは？
At this, Kaguya lost steam and felt silent. You cats do that often, it seems. Yeah! They just say hi. It's because in the evening, they usually stay with my mom. They just say hi for like a second to check up on me. And then they go to, you know, bother my mom again. Which is nice. After a long silence, he let out a sigh.
僕らは血を分けた兄弟や。いくら一人の女性を取り合うような状況に置かれているとはいえ、邪魔だから排除するとか考えたことはないで。それは僕だけやない。みんなもそうや。
I'm gonna have to show all of the cats at some point because one of them I showed on Twitter once, but like you guys don't even know what my cats look like. I just keep telling you I have 4 and it's like always a different one that comes check up on me. I always just say one of the
あなた
cats.
自身はそうかもしれない。でも他の兄弟がどう思っているのかまであなたははっきりと言い切れるんで
They're
すか？
really cute.
まあ、言い切れるで。なぜなら、そんなことをしたら、キーさんが悲しむからな。
He grinned at me. Aw, Kaguya. He was so mature and sensitive and considerate. I loved him dearly.
失礼しました。そうですね。あなた方が婚約者であるアリス城を手にかけることは考えにくいことです。無礼をお許しください。
ええて、疑われるのはしゃあないしな。でも、証拠もなく決めつけるのはやめてえな。
Kaguya smiled
も
stiffly.
ちろんです。では最後にもう一つだけ。
The wizard held up his index
あなた
finger.
は児童養護施設で過ごしていた時期があるとのことですが、それはどういった理由でなんでしょうか。あなた方は兄弟であるのに、なぜあなただけが親戚の家を転々とした挙句、施設に預けられたのか。
At this, Kaguya's mask slipped and the smile fell from his face entirely. Will you let the wizard pry into Kaguya's past? No. 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 Mr. Wizard. The wizard was trying to probe into his past. This I could not abide and I let him know it. But he didn't even spare me a glance, he simply kept watching Kaguya, awaiting an answer. After a long silence, Kaguya finally spoke.
それはどうしても答えなあかんことかな。
一応任意です。
Kaguya smiled softly. Perhaps he was relieved to hear it. But it only lasted for a moment before his expression turned into something mournful. From there he told us a bit about his
僕
past.
には最初から何もなかった。気づいたら両親はおらんくて、
Yeah, how does
親
that add
戚や
up
っ
that
ちゅ
he
う人の
was
言われるままにするしかなかった。
living in an orphanage?
どこに行っても僕はその家の子にはなれんかった。当たり前やんな。僕はその人たちにとってただの厄介者に過ぎんかったんやから。僕は今まで誰にも愛されたことがなかった。誰にも必要とされてこなかった。だから僕に兄弟がおるって知った時は嬉しかった。
Oh?
ここにいていいって言われた時は嬉しかった。僕は一人やない。初めてそう思えた。
Well, if we're going to fit him into the multiple personalities thingy with Alice, maybe after the whole thing with Alice's family losing their wealth. No, that doesn't add up. Maybe after the mom died, he was put into the orphanage? No? I don't know where to place him. I'm clinging to the theory. Maybe it doesn't make sense because it doesn't work out, but next he paid a visit to Snow White. His room was located on the second floor, the one with the vanity. I knocked on the door and he promptly responded. Snow White, is that you?
アリス。ちょっと待ってて。
He didn't come to the door right away. Instead, I could hear him running around in there. He probably has to clean up, right?
お待たせ。こんな夜遅くにどうしたの？
After a solid 5 or so minutes had passed, he finally opened the door. For some reason, he was unusually out of breath, but I decided not to comment on that. Sorry to disturb you. Mr. Wizard was wondering if he could speak with you privately. I stepped back and gestured to the wizard beside me.
兄さん、お聞きしたいことがあるのですが、お時間少々よろしいですか？あ、
But Snow White slammed the door in our faces. Looks like that's a no.
白雪さん、白雪さん。
The wizard pounded impatiently on the door.
うるさい。
When Snow White finally opened the door, we both quietly took a step back.
で、話って何？
At least he seemed willing to entertain our request. At
あ
last.
りがとうございます。では早速、白雪さんとアリス嬢は婚約者の間柄でお間違いないでしょうか？
The wizard started with his default opening question.
そうだね。
あなたのご兄弟全員が彼女の婚約者であることに疑念や不満はありますか？
随分とストレートに聞くんだね。
この質問に限っては変化球で聞いても仕方がないものですのでね。なんせこんなおかしな状況、過去に例を見ませんから。
Snow White nodded, smiling faintly.
そうだね。おかしいことだとは認めているよ。だけど、俺にはどうしようもない。アリスと婚約者であることに不満はないし、みんなのことも大事だ。なら、俺にできることは、 アリスがどうするのかを待つだけだよ。
彼女が誰を選ぶのかをただ待つだけ。
そうだよ。今言ったよね。
では結果として白雪さんが選ばれなくても恨みっこなしということで。
And the Snow White closed his eyes.
アリスが選んだのならしようがない。
No, wouldn't you be sad about it? Do you agree that it's purely your choice? No. I mean, the other party has to also, you know, say yes or no. There was nothing I can do made me feel a tiny bit sad. Yes, I was currently engaged to 5 men, and I was free to marry any one of them. But if I didn't end up choosing him, would he truly be able to simply let it go? And if so, could he still claim to love me? I shook my head, pushing the painful thoughts from my mind. Then I looked up and made eye contact with Snow White.
まあ、俺を選んでくれるに越したことはないけれどね。
He smiled as if he'd read my mind.
ちなみにあなたはいつも家で何を？
Reading.
何もしてない。本を読んでいるか寝てるかのどちらかだよ。
Sounds like me.
家の外には出ないんですか？
出ない。
Sounds like me!
ちなみに外の世界に憧れたことは？
And Snow White's icy countenance twitched slightly.
何が言いたいの？
白雪さん、あなたは亡くなられたお母様の第一発見者だったみたいですね。過労がたたっての突然死だったようですね。
Oh.
大事なお母様を目の前で亡くし、さぞやショックだったでしょう。そのことが原因で引きこもるようになるのも無理はない。
どうして君がそのことを知ってるの？
Snow White asked in a quiet voice. I couldn't speak. I could feel the tension in the air like static against my skin.
とある情報筋から。僕は探偵なので。
Are you now?
まるで何でも知ってるみたいだ。
I have no clue how to pronounce omniscient. Omniscient? 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 Snow White replied snidely, a rare glimpse of the emotions he generally kept under wraps.
ちなみに他のご兄弟はお母様のことをご存知で？
Eventually, Snow White caved to the wizard's persistent questioning.
かぐやとグレーテルは知らないよ。
Oh.
その時彼らとは一緒に暮らしていなかったから。
He spoke frankly.
ではシンデレラさんと赤ずきんさん。
I mean, Red Riding Hood has to know her.
知ってるよ。
I mean, that's where the you don't go out
で
thing
は彼らもお母様の死体を。
comes from.
いや、彼らは見ていない。もしかしたら
I'm pretty darn sure Red Riding
赤
Hood
ずきんを見たか
also
もしれないけど。
saw the dead body because there was a one time when he came home and saw that gruesome scene that was implied in his own route in his backstory. I think I said that the last time as well.
随分と曖昧なんですね。
But if we go by the different personalities fronting, it could be that yes, Red Riding Hood was out at the time, but the shock of seeing the mother dead was so big, it threw him out. And Snow White went to the. Wait, what did I just say? When Red Riding Hood found the mom, that it shocked him so much that Snow White came to the front to, like, you know, save Red Riding Hood because Snow White took on all of the unpleasant memories and experiences and trauma.
君が言った通り、俺は引きこもりだからね。兄弟と話すことすら少ないんだ。それに、このことについては、むやみに触れないのが俺たちの暗黙の決まりだった。
そうですか。ありがとうございます。
The wizard pressed a hand to his chest and gave a slight bow. Evidently, that was his final question.
ああ、そうだ。一つお聞きすることを忘れていました。すみませんが、あと一つだけよろしいですか？
He held up an index
どう
finger.
ぞ。
Snow White accepted it without batting an eye.
誰がお母様の死を伝えたんですか？
After a brief silence, Snow White said into the
シ
distance.
ンデレラ兄さんには、俺が。
そうですか。わかりました。
Last week, he paid a visit to the baby of the family, Gretel. This room was originally a summer kitchen, but because he was such a fan of sweets, he had since remodeled it into a living space. Not like we were using it anyway. One half of the room was a fully furnished kitchen dining area, while the other half was packed full of bookshelves.
で、先ほどから兄さんたちのところでいろいろと聞いているようですが、僕にも同じ要件ですか？
Yep. Gretel sat at one end of the table, teacup in
よ
hand.
くご存知で。
Teacup. Teacup.
そりゃ僕の大事な姉さんをこんな夜中に連れ回しているんですから気になりますよ。ただでさえ4人もライバルがいるんだ。それにこれ以上変な虫にはついてほしくないですし。
I think Gretel is a very refreshing kind of character, though. Like, he's not my type at all. I don't enjoy yanderes very much, but his personality is really refreshing. He's just fucking straight up like, fuck off. Clearing, he set his cup down onto its saucer with a loud clack.
ということは、グレーテルさんもアリス城と婚約者の間柄ということでよろしいのですか？
はい、そうですよ。
He donned a winning smile and nodded.
お姉さんなのに？
At this, Gretel's smile stiffened, but only for a moment.
義理ですし問題はないでしょ。あくまでこの家に預けられた時に形式上姉と弟の関係になっただけに過ぎない。
預けられたとおっしゃいましたが、あなたはいつ頃からこの家に？
もちろん生まれた時からですよ。
Oh?
あなたも知っての通り。
そうでした。ではあなたはなぜこの家に預けられたのでしょうか？
さあ、兄さんたちから聞く限りじゃ、僕の本当の両親はすでに死んでるかい
Wait,
な
what
く
does
なった
owl
みたいですけ
mean?
ど、僕にとっては他人も同然ですからどうでもいいです。
I knew that. At some point I knew it, but I
僕にと
forgot.
っての家族は姉さん。
I know that MIA means missing in
兄さんたちだけですから。
action. So what does owl mean?
Owl. Owl.
Absent without leave. Aha. Why does it have 4 letters then? For the without. W-O. Without. Oh, I see.
なるほど。では質問を変えましょう。あなたは普段何をしていますか？
Isn't he still a student?
普通の学生生活を送ってますよ。朝起きて学校に通って家に帰ったら新作のお菓子を作るか受験勉強をするかのどちらかです。
模範的な学生ですね。
Yeah, he modeled his appearance like that.
模範的な学生ですから。
聞くところによると、あなたは以前学校で問題行動を起こしたことがあるそうですが、
それがどうかしましたか？
Gretel asked in a low groan.
いいえ、一見優等生に見えるあなたにも影はあ
So
る
I'm
のだと
guessing the backstories are still the same.
探偵か何か知りませんが、プライバシーの侵害に当たるんじゃないんですか？
すみません。これも調査のうちでして。
The wizard offered a strained smile and shrugged.
そんなことより、犯人探しの方はどうなんですか？
No.
僕たちに聞き回っているってことは、当然僕たちのことを疑っているわけですよね。しかも、姉さんまで連れて。白雪兄さんは僕たち兄弟の中に犯人がいるかもしれないと言ってましたが。
Wait, hold on. Wait. How do I do it? Wait. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Where is it? Ah, fuck, I haven't edited yet. No, where is it? No, I wanted to make a funny Among Us joke, but I forgot to add this. Now I know what I have to do next time. I wanted to make a funny Among Us joke. Where is it? No. guys have to live with me. I'm gonna do this right now. On stream. Hold up. Hold up. Where should I put it? Oh no! Why are you not sticking? Should I put it here? Please stick.
Yeah!
Okay. Now we can continue. I'm happy now. Gretel seemed reluctant to let the wizard control the conversation.
いたらどうします？もちろん仮にの話です。もし君の家族であるご兄弟の誰かが彼女に脅迫状を送ったとしたら、
別にどうもしませんよ。
This response caught me off guard. Hastily, I clapped a hand to my mouth. Gretel briefly glanced in my direction and looked back to the wizard.
白雪兄さんが言ってたじゃないですか。この要求が叶って誰が得をするのかって考えれば、それは俺たち5人のうちの誰かでしかないって。僕たちはみんな姉さんが好きなんです。でも姉さんは今まで僕たちを選ぼうとしなかった。姉さんと結ばれるのは一人だけなんです。みんなで仲良く。そりゃ楽しいですよ。でもそれって問題を見ないふりをしているだけですよね。脅迫状の送り主はそんな凪のような状況に一石を投じたんです。そして波紋が広がった。他の兄弟は言わないでしょうけど、僕としてはこの状況は願ったり叶ったりですよ。これでようやく楽になれるんだって。
つまりあなた方ご兄弟は脅迫状の送り主は身内の誰かであると考えていて、
Listen, I love Among Us
その
like
ことに対
everyone
して
else,
心
but
の
the
内では
amount,
感謝
like
している。
every time I see any sentence that has Among Us, Among You, anything along those lines in it, I'm like, oh fuck. That's really true brain rot, I swear to
恐
God.
怖でしたからね。姉さんの一番は誰だろう？
I haven't even played Among Us that often.
一番になれなければ意味がない。一番じゃなきゃ姉さんに捨てられる。
That's not.
なら他を殺して奪ってしまえばよかったのに。
The wizard cut in before I could finish my
シン
rebuttal.
デレラさんも白雪さんも赤ずきんさんもかぐやさんも全員殺してあなただけが生き残って
Isn't that a little
彼女
extreme?
を奪ってしまえばよかったのに。そしたら全部自分のものになったのに。そう考えたことはありませんか？
At this, Gretel fell silent. What was the significance of this pause? Confirmation? Denial? Hesitation? I couldn't tell.
そうしたとして、姉さんは僕を肯定しますか？
Would you approve of Gretel's hypothetical killing spree? Wait, what? We're supposed to say yes? Okay, sure. Sure, I would. Answered without hesitation. It may prove just how much you loved me. Bro!
あれ許してくれるんですかなら僕は今すぐにでも大量殺人鬼になりますけど
Is that really what I'm... No, don't, I was joking. He started to rise from his chair, but I hastily stopped him.
なんだ残念
I wasn't sure exactly how sincere he was being, but he looked genuinely disappointed. Then he took a graceful sip of his tea and looked at the wizard as if the whole conversation had never happened.
でも
What the
少
fuck?
し疑問があるんですよね
But that is, yeah, see, this is why I wrote down when I said yes and when I said no, because otherwise I would have clicked no. But apparently you're supposed to say yes, so...
何ですか？
The wizard lowered the cup from his own lips and smiled.
僕たち兄弟の誰かが脅迫状を送ったとしたら姉さんを脅かすような文面を書くとは思えないというわけで魔法使いさん僕はあなたの存在を許しているわけではありません
That's very true.
もしかしたらあなたが犯人という可能性は
It
否
could
定
very
で
much
きて
be
いない
him.
ですしねなので今すぐ身の潔白を証明してください
なぜ？
The wizard set his cup down on the table and leaned forward on his elbows.
あんたは知りすぎてるからだ
探偵ですから。
探偵だからって僕たちのプライベートなことまで首を突っ込んでいいということにはならない
身の潔白か。
I mean, Mr. Wizard didn't show up of his own accord. He came because Hiroshi asked him to. Doesn't that count as proof? He hadn't asked me for help, but I offered it nonetheless.
漁師さんと共謀しているという可能性もありますよね
うん。そう言われると否定はできないね。でも僕には何のメリットもない。僕とアリス嬢は探偵と依頼主という関係性以上のものはない。
それは
At this Gretel faltered. The wizard had a point.
強いて言えばこの一連の事件が片付いてよかったということくらいでしょうか。
Gretel still didn't appear convinced, but at the same time he seemed to sense that there was no point in pressing further.
まあいいですよとりあえずのところはいろいろと嗅ぎ回っていただいて構いませんこちらも協力できることは協力しますのでまた何か聞きたいことがあったら来てください
He raised a hand and shooed us away.
ありがとうございます。協力者は多いほど事件解決につながりますから。
The wizard pressed a hand to his chest and bowed
いえ
gracefully.
いえ僕もちょうど新作の毒味役が欲しかったのでね
Out of your mouth, that doesn't sound like a joke. Not to be outdone, Gretel donned a sardonic sneer. Now that we had spoken to all 5 brothers, the 2 of us returned to the living room. The wizard sat down on the sofa and fixed me with a meaningful smile.
これで全員に事情を聞けましたね。
That we have.
いやー、アリス嬢。どうやら君はあの5人の兄弟にとても愛されているようですね。どうです？手っ取り早く誰か一人を選んでみては。
I could tell he was joking, but I didn't respond. Obviously, I knew the easiest solution would be to choose one of them, but I couldn't. Honestly, if it came to that, I would rather just die. Of course, dying was my preferred option, which was why I'd hired a detective in a last-ditch effort to find the culprit. Say, Mr. Wizard. Ignoring his question, I decided to ask one of my
何
own.
ですか？
Why did you ask him that stuff?
あんなこととは？
You kept digging into the past, prodding at their old wounds. It was something I had wanted the whole time as I stood there listening to each interrogation. That said, I didn't feel like I had the right to criticize his work when I had no experience in the field myself, hence I had stayed quiet.
心の傷ですか？
He spoke in a quiet voice, smiling faintly. Somehow it felt like he was being condescending, and I snapped back at him. Yes, their trauma. They may not show it, but they've all gone through some rough stuff in the past. Stuff they wish they could forget.
ええ、そうでしょうね。
He nodded and I felt satisfied in my rebuttal. Feeling cocky, I kept going. So why dig it up at all? Is this going to help us find the culprit?
ええ、もちろん。
It is. For a second, this threw me for a loop. I thought I had the moral high ground, but it felt like he was suggesting I was being hysterical or something.
僕は彼らの痛みを、苦しみを正しく知ることで、次の一手を打つための手段を講じているのです。
How does that work? It struck me as
つ
absurd.
まり、 相手を理解するということですね。
Okay. I don't fall. I mean, I'm the one the culprit's after. If you're going to do some digging, isn't it my past that matters?
君の過去ですか。では一応参考までに。君はどんな過去を持っていますか？
You're just gonna come right out and ask.
ええ。おかしいですか？
You know, I assumed you already knew everything, but I guess not, huh? I retorted sarcastically.
万能な人間なんてこの世に存在しません。
True that. I snickered.
僕が君について知っていることといえば、家族構成、現在置かれている環境、それと目的くらいなものです。
My personal goals. That's a lot. I mean, what's left to investigate at that point? My lips curled in a defiant smirk. At this, the wizard rose to his feet and strode right over to me. Then, before I could react, he pointed at my chest.
君の心です。僕には君が何を考えているのか
Oh.
よくわからない。
His calm smile had vanished without a trace. It felt like he was criticizing me, and my heart thumped in my chest. I don't want to sit back and let the culprit murder me. That's why I hired you, as a last-ditch effort. I don't have a dark past, nor do I have any trauma of my own. I'm not like them. I was blessed with a privileged life and a happy family.
そうですか。
Smirking, he took a half step backwards. Freed from his scrutiny, I looked around the room and caught sight of the clock. I was getting late. My, look at the time. Why didn't you stay here for the night?
それはそれは。どうもありがとうございます。
I don't trust him. I dreamed of you again last night. Dreamt. Suddenly I found myself lost in a world of darkness. No matter where I went, the scenery around me remained static and unchanging. It was like the darkness had consumed everything, all sense of direction, even the very concept of time itself. Were I to stand perfectly still and hold my breath, the only sound would be that of my own heartbeat. Just then, someone's voice rang out through the black void. It felt like they were calling me, so I headed in the direction of the voice. There, what appeared before me was a giant-looking glass. I prodded the surface of the mirror with my finger, and it rippled like water. Yearning to travel to the other side, I reached out to the mirror. What the fuck? What's that sound? The fuck? Okay! Scary noises I cannot place in my own room. In the middle of the night. That's not weird at all. Huh. Then I walked through the glass and jumped down into the looking glass world. Ooh, whoa, whose voice is that? I did as instructed, and the darkness turned to light.
君は自分がどこにいるかわかるかな?
Who the fuck is this? In front of me was a middle-aged man wearing a lab coat and a fake smile. I chose not to answer his question. However, he misinterpreted my silence as hesitation.
安心していい。私は君の主治医で、君の味方だ。
Just poltergeist. Heh heh. Heh heh. I didn't ask, but okay.
君の役割は他のみんなを正しく導くことだ。それは他の誰にもできない。なぜなら君の中にいる彼らは君のように完璧じゃないからだ。君には辛いことがたくさんあった。ずいぶん悲しい思いをしただろう。でもそれは全て過去のことだ。今君に害を与える人間はどこにもいない。君は強い人間だ。
Who the fuck?
だから辛い過去を乗り越え、輝かしい未来を生きていけるだろう。そのためには君以外の存在を消さなければならない。
はあ？
一つにまとまり、君は君の人生を歩むんだ。さあ、言ってごらん。
What's your name?
君の名前は？
But I couldn't satisfy his expectations. After all, Get a fade to black. The fuck? Early that morning before dawn, I was in the kitchen tying my apron strings and getting ready to make breakfast for the 7 of us, I swear to God. Everyone was still asleep except for the wizard who sat on the nearby sofa reading the newspaper. Did you get enough sleep last night? He looked up from his paper.
そりゃあもうぐっすりと。今の気分は実に爽やかです。
Glad to hear it. I flipped the French toast sizzling in my frying pan. Well, that reminds me, Mr. Wizard.
はい。
If possible, I'd like you to stay here and continue the investigation until you find the culprit. Or until the next full moon, anyway.
それは構いませんが。
He looked a bit perplexed by my request. I started to worry if perhaps I'd asked a little too much of him.
これからのことを考えると少し憂鬱だ。
He let out a sigh and smiled awkwardly. What do you mean?
僕がここにいるとなったら彼らが怒るだろうから。
And right at that exact moment,
なんで朝っぱらからこいつがいるんだ。
he slept over. This was the first thing out of Cinderella's mouth as he walked in.
やあやあ、今日もいい朝ですね。シンデレラさん。
The wizard set his paper on the table and waved cheerfully.
待て待て待て。何をくつろいでいるんだ。おいアリス、これはどういうことだ。
Meet your new housemate? Cinderella stormed over to me and demanded an explanation as if he were old one. Let's wait until everyone's awake before we have this conversation.
なんでだよ。
He throwed his brow at me dubiously as I pressed the toast down with my spatula. Well, I don't want to have to repeat myself 4 more times now, do I? Which makes sense. After breakfast, it was time to have a chat. Naturally, the topic was, what the fuck is the wizard doing here first thing in the morning? So I told him my plan to have him stay until either he caught the culprit or the deadline rolled around.
納得いかねえ。赤の他人に調査されるのはまあいい。しょうがないと割り切ることもできる。でもな、なぜ住み込む必要があるんだ。
Cinderella slammed his hands on the table.
せやな。魔法使いさんにだって他の仕事もあるやろうし。
いえ、特にありませんが。
あなたは黙っていてくだ。
はいはい。
I love this song. What does it matter? We have plenty of guest rooms. Besides, he's a detective. Isn't it smart to keep him close at hand in case of danger? It wasn't my idea, so naturally I was in favor of it. However...
余計安心できませんよ。逆に姉さんが襲われるかもしれない。
は？
そうです。男は皆狼なんですよ。
I'm going to fucking strangle you. My disappointment is immeasurable.
せやな。ヒーサーはめっちゃ魅力的やしな。
You know what? Fuck you. I don't like any of you anymore. Fuck this. Why do I even play Otome games? Every single one of them protested against the plan. As I expected, it was going to take a lot of work to convince them. Men are beasts, but we 5 are different. Sure. That said, I felt like the conversation was taking a weird turn. Did they think there was something romantic between me and the wizard? Could you see yourself falling for the wizard? Maybe. 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 Granted, he was a handsome guy and his confidence was admittedly sexy. I glanced at him out of the corner of my eye.
何かな?
Nothing. Unfortunately, he caught me in the act. I quickly turned away. Honestly, what was I thinking? Shaking away the distraction, I took a deep breath. Mr. Wizard and I have a strictly professional relationship. I asked him to stay for that reason only. I don't know what you're all worried about, but there's nothing funny going on. This was my rebuttal to anyone who didn't approve of me spending time with the wizard. After giving the five brothers a moment to exchange a glance, I looked at each of them in turn. Kaguya tilted his head with a stiff smile, but Snow White and Cinderella nodded.
わかった。
Damn.
アリスが仕事だと認識してるなら、こいつがそばにいるのを認めてやる。
There was this, what was it? There was this webtoon I started reading recently that just came out online. It's like, it has like four chapters out right now. Where a bunch of kiddles, I think it's called. Where there's a bunch, like 5 friends who've known each other since they were children. And like they were like, oh, we always be together, we always be friends, blah blah blah. And then the story goes on, they get older and stuff, and they still hang out, but like there's this one passage that's like, oh, starting from, I don't know, middle school or something, friendships started turning into, you know, male friends, female friends, so they can't hang out as much anymore. And then like 2 of them live in the same apartment complex, and one of the girls and one of the guys, and then one day she goes to stay over because he had a coupon for a bunch of ice, and it was too much ice for him, and they met up. Like they just saw each other, and he was like, well, I have a coupon, do you want to get the ice cream together? And so they went to get the ice cream. And then afterwards it's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna come over so we can eat the ice cream. And then it starts getting awkward because, oh no, she's a girl coming over to a guy's house. And like, I'm not sure I want to keep reading that webtoon because I think I'll just, you know, it's not really my cup of tea. That kind of, oh, we cannot be friends because you're a guy and I'm a girl, or I'm a, you know, the other way around, whatever. Because that's simply not true. So that left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth when I started reading that, because I'm just like, please, can't you people just hang out? Can you not make it? Oh, they've known each other since they were literal children. And suddenly now, when she goes over to his house, it's like, oh no, what if something happens?
Why?
Why? And then I sit here playing Otome games and it does the exact same fucking thing, and I get mad about it time and time again, yet I still read them. I don't know why I do this to myself. Deep breaths. Thank you. I got in quickly before more arguing could start.
Right,
Dad.
まさかこいつに一日中ボディーガードさせようとか思ってるんじゃねえよ。
With a skull, Cinderella jerked his thumb at the wizard. Naturally, we all turned to look at him. Actually, yes.
だそうです。
Oh. We nodded as if we'd planned it all along.
今の間はなんだよ。
I turned away and started whistling, pretending I hadn't heard the question.
いやー、僕としても他の方を出し抜いたみたいで大変心苦しいのですが。
Wait, he's wearing one earring.
他ならぬアリス城の妖精なら仕方ないですね。
He's wearing one singular earring. Can you see it?
On his left ear, there's a singular earring. Stylish. Stylish. Good choice. Where's the wizard?
There was a son in front of me, shielding me from Cinderella.
アリス城、君の身は僕が守ります。
He's cute. I don't trust him. He's killed us several times, but he's cute. He turned back and shot me a wink. Cool, thanks.
姉さん、こんな男より僕の方がよっぽど役に立ちますよ。圧巻の一人や二人、ボコボコにのしてやりますよ。
Then, with Gretel's interjection, the conversation took a slightly different turn. However,
だけどグレーテル君、君も学校がありますよね。
that he has to.
学校なんてインフルエンザにかかったとでも言っておけば済む話です。
いやいや、グレーテル君、君は修学の身なのだから休んだらダメですよ。
I accidentally skipped the rest of the voice line. I'm sorry.
なら僕がついてこうか。僕だったらお店を休んでも。
いいえ、かぐやさんは看板ウェイターだということをしっかり自覚してください。あなたが急に休んだらがっかりする人が多いのでは？
Sometimes you just have to shut off your feminist brain and just enjoy guys talking down on you, to you, I guess. That's what I'm going to be doing right now.
ボディーガードなら私が適任です。
You have to work.
赤ずきんさんは警察官でしょ？日々の治安を守る目は彼女だけでなくこの町全体に向けるべきでは？
それは
しょうがねえ。ここは俺がボディーガードとして。
シンデレラさんは仕事ですよね。職人の世界は厳しいので
What
は？
job does he have, though? One by one, the wizard shot them all down. Snow White.
俺は家にいるよ。
ということは
Snow White's just like,
として適任
count me out of that.
ということですね。
I won't involve myself in that conversation.
でもな。
No buts, mister. I shut him down, leaving no room for argument. Cinderella fell silent. Now then, isn't it about time you headed out? Don't forget to take your lunch. I gave him a little push.
おっとやべえ。親方にどやされる。
私もそろそろ署に向かう。
バイバイ。
おい、探偵。とりあえずこの件は任せることにする。だけどな。
Well, gee, I wonder how we're going to reach the end of this route alive.
わかってますよ。
And so we all went our separate ways for the day. Crunch. Sorry about all the drama this morning. The two of us walked side by side in the direction of my college.
いえいえ。仲が良くて楽しそうで何よりですよ。
It made me happy to see him smile. Right? They have such a close bond with each other. I grinned proudly. However,
それなのに君の存在が彼らの絆を乱してしまった？
in contrast to his gentle tone, his words were barbed.
恋という魔物は人を狂わす。どんなに聡明な人物でさえもね。ですが悪いことだけではありません。恋は人を強くさせる。
You know, if you think about it really hard, we kind of have the same hair. If you pretend his hair is like, you know, purplish and the tips are orange, we are kind of similar. Even though it's just probably just a shading with him, I don't think he actually has orange tips. I do though.
君の存在によ
Because
っ
those are
て
cool.
彼らは変わることができるかもしれない。一つだけ確かなのは彼らにとって君の存在は救いであるということでしょう。
Okay, now you're exaggerating. I laugh.
そうでしょうか。昨晩話した通り彼らは
But they do.
心に傷を負っている。彼らに必要なのは
And the
理解
therapist.
深い愛情です。君は彼らを理解し包み込んであげる
I
だけの
think
器を持
they
っ
need
て
a therapist. Don't they need time too? And a
確かに
therapist.
心の傷を癒すのに時間は必要です。時間が経てば経つほど新たな思い出によって記憶が薄められていくこともあるでし
I
ょう。
don't think this world has heard of therapists
でも
though.
それは遠いどこかへ記憶を置いていくことであり、その記憶を作った事実は消えはしない。それに誰にでも時間があるとは限らないですしね。
Because time is limited.
そうです。時間は進むものであり、戻るものではない。人はいつ死んでしまうかわからない。
Or the next full moon in my case.
ええ。だからこそ、それまでに犯人を見つけなければならない。
I still have my bets on either the wizard or Yurika writing the letter herself. I snuck a peek at his face and profile. His handsome features were pointed not at me, but straight
僕
ahead.
は君を殺させるつもりはない。
Do you now? Well, yeah, you're a detective, right? I said, looking back at the road ahead. He was here purely to solve the case, and to that end, perhaps he was right to search our souls. Could I ask you something? What made you start your own detective agency?
なんででしょう。なんというか親和性が高かったのかもしれません。僕は基本的に何でも屋さんなんです。やれと言われればやるだけです。それこそ僕にとっては果たさなければならない使命と言えるでしょう。
Your mission.
とても重要であり、それこそ私が生まれた意味を問うほどのものです。使命というよりは宿命と言った方が正しいかもしれません。
At this, I thought back over my own life. Thus far, things have been pretty uneventful, but while those idyllic days were something I cherish, part of me mourned the fact that I passed through them without accomplishing much. This all changed once my 5 fiancés entered the picture, however. I think it's really great that you have something worth dedicating your whole life to.
そう言っていただければ、僕も頑張りがいがあるというものです。
But now that I was being blackmailed, my life had gotten even more hectic. Of course, if I simply followed the letter's orders and chose someone to marry, the whole crisis could be averted. But was that really what I wanted? Was it right to simply keep chugging along the same track, letting someone else pull the switches as they saw fit? Would it lead me to a greater purpose? What? Out of nowhere, I tripped over something and lost my balance. Wait.
大丈夫ですか?
Before I knew it, the wizard had pulled me into his arms.
考え事に夢中になるのはいいですが、周囲にはちゃんと気を配った方がいいです。
Damn, I thought you didn't want to lay a single hand on me, huh? Huh? Right, sorry about that. I stammered hastily. I could feel his arm around my waist, and his handsome face was so close to mine, anyone would have been flustered in my shoes. I can only imagine the smug grin on Cinderella's face if he found out I tripped on the way to college. I laughed to distract me from my embarrassment.
違いない。
Smiling, the wizard slowly let go of me. Thanks. He looks really wide in that outfit, though. I feel like his jacket is too big for him. So, what are you doing here?
いやー、ちょっとお聞きしたいことがありましてね。
At lunch, when I arrived at the courtyard, I found a visitor waiting for me at my usual spot. He wasn't even hiding. He was eating a sandwich right out in the open. Granted, acting casual was usually a good way to avoid looking suspicious, but in his case, it wasn't really working.
あれ、魔法使いの旦那じゃないですか。なんでこんなところに。って、あれっすね。潜入捜査ってやつっすね。
It's a super secret fucking mission. If you keep screaming about it, everyone will know. My lunch buddy Wolfie took one look at the wizard and started babbling excitedly.
本当に潜入捜査なら今の狼くんの大声で失敗に終わってますよ。
That's what I'm saying. You two know each other.
ええ、まあ。
そうっすよ。
Interesting.
ここに来たのは狼くんと漁師くんに聞きたいことがあってね。
俺？ああ、もしかして例の件っすか？
そう。アリス城とつながっている君たちにも事情聴取をと。
は
ーい。He raised his hand eagerly.
君はアリス城とどういう関係？
それはもちろん。
We're friends. We look like a couple here. A couple of besties. Best friends. Poor dude. I smiled brightly.
まだ何も言ってね
え。Nope.
アリス城の友人ね。どこで知り合ったのかな？
もちろん学校ですよ。俺と同期に転入してきた可愛い女の子がいるって聞いて、速攻でナンパして振られた。
Well, he shot his
私には好きな人がいるから。
そう言って断られた。でもってその後アリスちゃんがその好きな人と並んで歩いてるところを見て驚いたんすよね。だってそいつ俺の知り合いだったんだ。
Oh?
それは誰？
あっちゃん。いや、赤ずきん。
彼とはどういう関係？
幼馴染み。って言っても2ヶ月くらいしか一緒にいなかったけど。
は？
俺さ、ここの出身じゃないんだよね。昔体弱くてさ、療養も兼ねてばあちゃんがいるこの田舎町にしばらくの間住んでたことがあったんだ。
彼とはその時に知り合ったのかな？
さあさあ、 あいつ平日の昼間だってのに湖のほとりに座り込んでてさ、
So the story stays
気に
the
なって
same,
俺から
huh?
声かけたんだ。で、仲良くなったと思ったらいろいろあって、その後すぐに俺も元の町に戻らなくちゃいけなくなって。
離れ離れになった。
そうっすね。
それは何年前のこと？
6年前かな。確か2月か3月頃だったと思う。
ちなみにわざわざこの田舎町に戻ってきた理由はまさか療養のためじゃないよね。
まさかあの頃とは違うよ。この通り元気だし。ここに戻ってきたのはあっちゃんとまた会いたかったからだよ。
That was your whole reason for moving
そう
back.
だよ。やっぱ変すかね。自分でもよくわかんねえけど。
Achan, that's a cute nickname though.
気になった。
うん。あいつさ、俺と遊んでるとき、たまにすごく苦しそうにするんだ。
I don't know, I just really like those nicknames where you just put a chan at the end. Those are
直前ま
cute.
では普通だったのに、時々すごく不安そうな顔で俺のことを見て、何かあったのかと思って聞いてみると、いつもの顔で知らねえって言うし、俺も当時はそこまで気にしなかったけど。
5人の兄弟に関して他に何か知っていることは？
さあ、一応全員知ってるけど特別に仲いいってわけじゃないし、喋ったことないやつもいる。
彼は引きこもりだからね。
そうそう。だいたいあっちゃんにこんな
I
に
know
たくさん
you
兄
had
弟
so
がい
many
る
brothers.
の知らなかった
Well,
し。
if you never talked about them and you never met them.
実際に会った時は驚いたな。
He spoke wistfully with a goofy smile on his
基
face.
本的に俺はアリスちゃんと漁師さん以下の情報量だから役に立たないっすよ。俺はあくまでもサブキャラクターだからさ。
But right as I was starting to think Wolfie had handled this pretty awesomely, the wizard dropped a bombshell.
そうですか。じゃあ最後に、君は犯人ですか？
イエス！俺が犯人です！
Naturally, Wolfie played along.
じゃあ逮捕。
The wizard reached into God knows where and pulled out a pair of giant handcuffs large enough to fit over the sleeves of Wolfie's riding hood.
え、ちょっと魔法使いさん？
Huh?
連行します。アリス助手、通報を。
Yokai! I cheerfully saluted him.
ちょっと
At my betrayal, Wolfie dropped his jokester stick and started pleading his innocence. Feeling bad for the poor guy, I tapped the wizard on the shoulder, but
どうしようか。疑わしきは罰するとも言うし。
罰せずだから。
Wolfie was getting desperate.
何やってんだお前ら。
Just then, Ryoshi turned up, same as ever.
漁師先生、助けて！
Wolfie pleaded like he was begging for his life, but Ryoshi merely offered him a passing glance.
ああ、そいつだったらうるさいんで2、3日豚箱に放り
What
込ん
did
で
the
いても
poor
構
guy
わ
ever
ない
do to you? Harsh.
そんな漁師先生まで。
He's a little loud sometimes, but he's not a bad guy.
で、なんでここにお前がいるんだ？
Ryoshi ignored Wolfie's words and turned to the
ちょ
wizard.
っと聞きたいことがあってね。
Likewise, the wizard replied as if nothing was amiss.
お二人さん、お話進めるのでしたらこれ外してくれませんか？ねえ外してくれませんか？
うるせえ。マジで無視が送るぞ。
はい。
Hi. Once Wolfie was shuffled off stage, it was Ryoshi's turn in the spotlight.
漁師くん、君の職業は？
あ？
Ryoshi frowned dubiously. Then he seemed to intuit the meaning behind the
漁
question.
師だ。
He answered with a stoic
漁
expression.
師とは何をする
Yes,
仕事
please,
ですか？
please, please tell me.
漁師は漁師。つまり医者だ。漁師ってのは名前を引っ掛けたただの言葉遊び。
Aha! I see. that makes more sense of why he would have patience. Who the fuck thought of that? This is the third game. This is the final route in the third game, just before the epilogue. And this is the first time we actually get to see what the fuck a hunter even is. No wonder that when I googled it, that didn't really help, because it's a completely different thing in this game. Thanks, game. Fun fact, his name even means hunter in Japanese.
ああ、そうだ。ちなみに俺は精神医学を専門としている。
Makes more sense of why he was able to put Gretel into solitary confinement then.
アリス嬢との関係は？
妹だ。一応血のつながったな。っていうか、今更だろ。
そうだけど一応ね。なぜ妹さんと一緒に暮らさないんですか？
それは。
Hiroshi faltered and looked at me.
5人の兄弟に遠慮して？
そうだ。あいつらは俺に好意的なのもいれば敵意を持ってるのもいたり複雑だからな。俺が離れた方がうまくいくと思ったんだよ。
一つ屋根の下に年若い男女が一緒に住むことに関して
節度ある行動をとでも言えばいいのか？
Wow.
ずいぶん理解あるお兄さんだ。
Yoshi actually makes a lot of sense. At this, Yoshi visibly scowled.
ちなみに君は5人の兄弟に関してどこまで知ってる？
Oh.
全部だ。全部知っている。あいつらの過去もそれぞれのプロフィールもな。
さすが漁師くんだ。
I mean, if they were his patients, that makes sense.
では白雪さんについてはどうかな？先ほど狼くんにも同じ質問をしたときに彼は白雪さんだけはよく知らないと言ってたけど。
At the mention of Snow White, Yoshi quirked a brow.
まあ、そうだろうな。
Oh?
俺ももう何年も会ってないくらいだしな。
なぜ会わないんですか？
会わないというより会えないんだよ。向こうが会うことを拒否してる。
引きこもりだから。
そうだ。初めて会った時は今みたいな引きこもりじゃなかったけどな。
白雪さんとはどこでお知り合いに？
俺があいつと会ったのは6年前の春だ。
About 6 years
夜
back,
の
huh?
湖でぼーっと突っ立ってるところに俺から声をかけた。
白雪さんといえばお母様の死に際を目撃したそうですね。
ああ、そうだ。でもあれはそんな生優しいもんじゃない。
お？
あいつは母親の死体と一緒に暮らしてたんだよ。
Oh!
あいつが引きこもったのはそのせいだ。
They kept that entire thing about Snow White? Okay. A heavy silence dominated the air. No one said a word. Then finally, Yoshi asked.
で、犯人は見つかったのか？
いや、まだだね。一応彼女の婚約者である5人の兄弟から。
There was a glance my way.
何か不審な点でもあったか？
怪しいといえば皆怪しい。怪しくないといえば皆怪しくない。といったところでしょうか。つまりは何もわからないということです。
I thought they would maybe change up something, but I guess most of the stuff that we have seen so far is actually just still the same. He shrugged with a smile.
まあ、そうだろうな。
Just as this time around, the wizard is actually a character in the world itself, interacting with them directly. Because the only time he ever really interacted with the others directly, aside from toward the end, was like when that one time with Cinderella, and the other times it was only just like towards the end with Kaguya, where he just suddenly vanished and stuff like that. So thank you for the posture check. Ryoshi let out a long sigh and walked up to me and put his hand on my head.
せいぜい殺されないよう頑張れ。
頑張れ。Ah, Ryoshi, you jerk. On the way home, I thought back to my brother's attitude and raged quietly while the wizard laughed at me. This isn't funny, you know? I pouted my lips.
君のお兄さんも君を心配していないわけではないですよ。
I know. Yes, I know. We had spent our whole lives living separately, so we weren't exactly close, but I knew he was a caring person. After all, he'd been looking after the 5 brothers since way before I showed up. This reminded me of the question I'd been meaning to ask the wizard since this afternoon. So, pretty small world we live in, huh? I knew you and Ryoshi were acquainted, but Wolfie too? Nobody told me about this. I was, of course, indirectly complaining that he kept this from me, aka his client.
そうですね。
aka, sorry.
まるでこの世界には限られた人間しかいないみたいだ。
I know, I have no idea what you're implying. He replied casually without batting a lash. It felt like he was being evasive on purpose, but I couldn't be sure.
でもこれで彼らの人間関係が見えてきましたね。
Do you know?
狼くんと赤ずきんさん、漁師くんと白雪さんはそれぞれ因縁浅からぬ仲のようだ。
Yeah, I agree. I nodded along. Seems like Red and Snow White made friends with Wolfie and Ryoshi right around the same time too. Wolfie mentioned February or March and Ryoshi said springtime.
6年前のお話だそうですね。
Which makes sense considering that Snow White was the earlier, well, the older brother. So his personality would have manifested first. And then Red came after.
彼らは同じように湖を眺めていたそうですが。
Beats me.
行ってみますか。
Right now? Frankly, now that we are almost home, I really didn't want to have to turn around and head back again. But once we arrived at home, we'd have to give the brothers a status update. Going to the lake actually sounded like the less annoying option. Okay, well, let's look at the lake. You know, I never knew lakes had waves. I mused as I gazed out at the rippling water. Until I moved here, that is. I always pictured lakes as these perfectly still mirrors. That's not true, though. They're not perfectly still. Waves can get some pretty big lakes can get some pretty big waves, actually. The surface glittered beneath the rays of the faint winter sun, yet there was no reflection to be seen.
湖の波は水面が風に煽られてできたさざ波が遠くまで伝播して大きくなったものだそうですよ。
Not much different from the ocean then. I thought back to the days before I lived here. Back then, whenever I saw the ocean, I longed to travel beyond the furthest reaches of the horizon.
ですが、湖は湖であって海ではありません。
Because it's limited?
海のように世界とつながって、
I stared at him blankly. Not only did it feel like he had read my mind, but on top of that, he disagreed. Sensing my gaze, he snickered.
と彼らは思っていたのかもしれませんね。
What?
白雪さんと赤ずきんさんのことです。
Oh. They wanted to travel abroad?
はい。それが逃避なのか憧れなのか、それとも好奇心なのかは別として。
Good question. I looked back at the lake and thought of the brothers. If they were looking for an escape, then they must have really hated their lives here. Have you ever wanted to leave the country?
僕は思ったことはありません。
How come?
では逆にお聞きしますが、今君はどこか遠い国に行きたいと思いますか？
Well, I know for sure that I would like to travel again. Not right now.
それはなぜ？
Well, before I could answer, he pressed a finger to my lips.
僕と君の気持ちは同じですよ。
Hey, yo. I thought you said you wouldn't lay a single hand on me, huh? That's the second time you're laying a hand on me, And this time it's not just because you caught me from falling. He moved away from me and walked toward the
そう
water.
いえば、君が鏡の国にやってきたのはいつでしたっけ？
A year and a half ago. I answered, gazing at his back.
では、その時に彼らと出会っ
That's
たん
not
で
that
すね。
long. Yeah,
それまではどこに？
I lived in a different country.
君が鏡の国にやってきた理由は
Well, I wanted to see him.
誰に？
I can't remember. You can't remember which one you wanted to see, huh? Maybe because it wasn't 5, but just 1. I dreamt of you again last night. Now and then I would gaze into the mirror. Unlike the real world, the mirror world showed me everything, even the parts I didn't want to see. I knew if I reached out I could pass through to the other side, but the milk in the mirror looked revolting, so I wasn't motivated to try. In the mirror world, that same doctor called to me dozens of times. I had figured out what he wanted, what he expected of me, but after I stubbornly refused to perform, he must have given up.
ダメだ。失敗だ。
And with that he discarded me. He seemed angry with me for being a brat. After that he paid me less and less attention until eventually he stopped coming by entirely. Gazing into the mirror, I thought about his comments. Defective. Botched. He wanted perfection. But what is perfection? To be visibly smarter, more sociable, more athletic and more dexterous than the average person? To play the role other people expect of you in other worlds? In that case, I didn't need an identity of my own. Taken one step further, if no one needed me, then my entire existence was unnecessary. Out of nowhere, something seized me by the leg, threatening to pull me down into its inky depths. I ran blindly through the dark. I knew the meaning of this darkness, and I knew if I let it consume me, I would cease to exist. It felt like someone was saying, if you won't behave, then I'll lock you in a looking glass house. It reminded me of a time not that long ago when someone said something similar to me. I couldn't meet their expectations, and so I was discarded and eradicated. Who's dreaming this? Something jostled me awake. Where am I? The next thing I knew, I wasn't in bed, resting against someone's My pulse was racing and I was breathing so hard it felt like I just ran a whole marathon. In order to get a grasp of the situation, I opened my eyes. Ha!
おはようございます。アリス嬢。
I won't lay a single hand on you.
Hello? Feeling his breath against my back, so I let out a shriek. Then I slowly looked up to find a pair of ember eyes looking back at me. Mr. Wizard. My heart pounded even faster. Was I still dreaming? Or was I really cuddled up in bed with the wizard? Suffice it to say, it was a very romantic position to be in. But I'd only met him a few days ago and our relationship was strictly professional. I had no recollection of ever taking things to the next level, so to speak. Surely this had to be a dream then. But if this was the dream, then what about the other dream? Was that real life? As I writhed in confusion, the wizard regarded me calmly.
悪い夢でも見ましたか?
Hey yo!
顔が真っ青です。
Hands off the goods, bro. His arm shifted slightly beneath me as he reached up to stroke my hair. Smack his hand away! Okay, hold on. We have to make a save here, hold on. We have to make a save here and then say yes for the CG variation. Well, I'm gonna get that one some other time. Or maybe because the problem with CG variation saves is I don't know when the CG variation will be over, so I'm gonna get that after our normal playthrough. So we're going to go for what we're supposed to do, which is say, don't smack his hand away. Smack hand. No. His peaceful smile and soft touch gradually put me at ease. I felt it was safe to trust him just as I had the day we first
君
met.
は逃げないんだね。怖くないの。
Huh?
いいえ。何でもありません。
Yes, Duolingo, I'm aware it's almost time. A short while later, I was finally calm enough to ask him my burning question. So, what are you doing here? At this, the wizard smiled brightly.
君が僕を離さなかったからですよ。
Oh, so it's my fault now. Oh, that's when I realized I was clinging to his shirt. I'm so sorry. Hastily let go.
別に謝る必要はありません。頼られ
He
る
does
のは
look good
嫌
in
いじゃ
this
ありませ
CG
んか
though,
ら。
I have to admit. Heat flushed through my body. Extrapolating from this conversation, he must have been stuck here the whole time I was asleep. For that matter, I couldn't even remember when we got back. And yet he was in bed and in my pajamas too. At the rate we were headed, we might come under fire for some unscrupulous behavior. Yet somehow he didn't look panicked in the least. I felt so pathetic getting flustered when he clearly wasn't. It infuriated me, even though it wasn't his fault. Despite having only just let go, I grabbed his shirt again. He showed no signs of resisting. Instead, he continued to look at me, his expression unchanged. Then I realized something. He wasn't wearing his jacket, I was. It was unmistakably a kind gesture on his part. I had kept getting these little glimpses of his personality that I didn't quite understand. And possibly because of that, I had a dream where I was about to be killed. The next thing I knew, I was telling him about my dream. Hearing the tension in my voice, his smile faded. In the dream, I was desperately trying to run away from something. It was pitch black and I couldn't see, and I was terrified. Then something grabbed my leg and I fell. The darkness crawled up my body, engulfing me. Then my mind started to fade and I started to forget, almost like I was being erased.
それは怖かったですね。
Yeah.
きっとあんな脅迫状を受け取ったからでしょう。
Your shoulder's looking sus! Is it? I don't know what you mean.
誰か呼んできましょう。その方が落ち着きますよ。
He gently took me by the arm and set me upright. I want you. The second I realized he was going to leave, I automatically stopped him. The wizard paused for a moment.
そんなに誰か一人を選ぶのが嫌ですか？わかりました。君が望む通り、君のそばにいますよ。
It's a good evening, Sha. How are you? With a self-depreciating smile, he got back in bed. Thank you. I felt so relieved, and the fact I felt this way made me hate myself. Here I was sharing a bed with someone else, pouring my heart out to him, all behind my fiance's backs. It felt like I was cheating on the man who loved me. Anyway, as I was saying, I always thought I wasn't afraid to die.
なぜ？
I don't know. I'm not suicidal, my life isn't miserable, and I'm not spiritually enlightened or anything like that. But I've always been the kind of girl who would do anything to achieve her goals, so maybe I'm just prepared to die for my mission. You're good, you had a super late dinner. Ha! What did you have? I'm good. I'm trying to find a good point to stop for tonight. What was it you said again? A mission so important it gives your entire life purpose, your destiny? And yet, when I was about to disappear, I resisted.
志半ばで殺されて悔いが残る？
Maybe, yeah. Maybe I feel sorry for myself. Do you think maybe deep down I'm afraid of death? Well, that's a normal feeling, isn't it? From there, the wizard explained that I had passed out at the lake. Naturally, my fiancés were all very worried and they had been taking turns checking in on me.
Soup! Oh, nice! Soup! I love me some soup.
Part of me wished he had told me sooner, but I was the one who stopped him and changed the subject, so it wasn't really his fault. When I walked into the living room, the five brothers all called for me at once. That's nice. I'm gonna take that as a chance to stop, actually. Because I have a feeling if we keep going, we're going to reach somewhere where it's even worse to save. But that means I can get that CG variation if we say yes. Don't touch me, I shout reflexively. Sorry about that. He put his hand right on my head. Immediately I regretted my folly. And so sorry, I apologized quickly.
Yeah.
You're not bothered. Yeah, and then the same thing happens again. Okay, so that's the
君が望む通り。
that's the difference in the CG.
Wah!
That's the difference in the CG. I wonder how many things there are left. Aha! Oh, well, yeah. We still have a lot of stuff to unlock. Good stream. You come in here, I'm like, okay, bye. I'm so sorry. No, but for real though. I think we're actually getting somewhere. Because like, from now on, in regards to the saves, there's a bunch of bad endings that we are going to get one by one. It's not the bad my Steam is still bugged in regards to this game because none of the achievements are unlocking, but there's an achievement for like every single one of the bad endings we're about to get, and then his happy ending. Can radio again say
Hell yeah.
I mean, normally I don't stream on Mondays. This is just because I didn't stream yesterday. But also you guys, Wednesday, which is just 2 days away, is my birthday. And I decided I'm going to make it a karaoke stream, which is going to be interesting. On one hand, I obviously want as many people to come as possible. On the other hand, like, oh fuck, you guys are going to hear me sing. Oh no. But I'm looking forward to it. I hope I can make it a fun event. You gotta stream Wednesday. Because I still haven't gotten around to, you know, trying to make a full song cover, so I hope I can at least make Wednesday a fun singing stream. Didn't you say you also get vaccinated? No, I'm getting vaccinated on Thursday. That's why I'm trying to make the special thing happen during the week on my actual birthday, not on the weekend like all the other times. Where I try to do something special, because I fear that it's going to be the same as last time. When I got the first shot, it was also on Thursday, and I felt horrible on Saturday. So I don't want to risk that this time around, and I want to, you know, have fun on my birthday with you guys. It's my first birthday.
It's Nue's first birthday.
So I want to do something cool. And yeah, I'm getting my second vaccine shot on the 12th as like a belated birthday present. I guess. You already got both. Nice. Yeah, the reason is I got AstraZeneca. And this was before they announced that they would do those cross vaccinations and stuff. So I had to wait out the full 12 weeks. This is now the 12th week since I got the first shot. Because there's too many people and too little stuff for me to get something else as a second shot, I guess. Well, I don't know what I'm going to get on a Thursday actually, but it's been 12 weeks since I got the first one, so that's fun. I'm just hoping, because I felt bad after the first shot, that the second shot I will not be feeling as much. I mean, maybe this time around I won't feel anything and I can just stream as usual. But just in case, I want to just stream on my birthday. Just have a fun little karaoke session. I'm still trying to think of songs I want to sing. So that's hopefully going to be fun. Hope you're looking forward to it. It's gonna be awkward, probably. I know myself, it's going to be awkward, but I'm gonna try my best. Grow as a person. Alrighty. If you get the other ones, you might be resting the next day. Well, I hope it will be good. Because, well, most of the people I know, for them it was like, at least one of them, they felt really bad afterwards. Also some people that felt bad with both of them, and very little people that felt absolutely nothing. So
Yeah, we shall see about that. Now though, what do we do now? Obviously I want to send you guys somewhere. Who's live? Who's doing stuff?
Tip is still playing Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh yeah. Let's rate Tip. I don't... Good night, good night! Hold up, let me set this all up. You're also quick to say good night.
Tip is still playing Super Mario Odyssey, and we haven't... I don't think I've ever rated Tip. No, like once, maybe? No. I don't remember. Well, we're rarely on at the same time, so let's take this chance to rate Tip and say hello. Here's the rate message, as always. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on Wednesday for karaoke and my birthday. And then I hope you all have a very good night.
Sleep tight. And I have to press a bunch of buttons at once. Hold up. 1, 2. Where's my ending song? Bye bye.